So, we're going to be playing Timberborn today. For those who have not seen this game before, it is a post-apocalyptic city builder featuring sentient beavers as your colonists or citizens or whatever you want to say for that. The idea behind this game is unlike most survival city builder games where it's your spring is good, your fall is good, your summer is good, and then winter comes around, you got to stockpile your firewood and food and all that to ride out the winter to then get to the next spring. Instead, this has a normal season and what's like a wet season and a drought season. And that drought season's the danger time, that all your plants will dry up, your beavers need water to live, and all that kind of stuff. So it ends up being the thing that kind of gets them in trouble and gets them killed. And so a lot of the game is around water management, doing stuff like damming rivers and all that to make a reservoir that as you go into the drought, you slowly work through that reservoir, and you hopefully have enough there to keep all your crops growing. So with all that said, let's actually go into settings so they haven't played in a while and see if there's any new accessibility things. They do have resolution scaling, which is an accessibility thing that helps. You can turn off edge scrolling, which is an accessibility thing that can cause motion sickness for people. I did turn off the music. The game just didn't want to play its music consistently. You do have two different factions. You've got the Folktales, which is the one you get at the beginning. They were kind of with the environment. And then you've got the Iron Teeth, which has like a lot more of like mechanical stuff and all that. And they kind of exploit the environment. I'm going to do the Iron Teeth because I've played a lot of the Folktales and all that. You actually have to play as the... Oh, I see. Then why do you have a right arrow here? It's fine. But you have to play the Folktales to unlock the Iron Teeth. But yeah, so we're going to do this one, not machinery and all that. You've got a bunch of different maps here. So like... The plains is kind of default. I thought it gave us previews of the maps. But, or descriptions or something. Interesting. Maybe you got to do the Iron Teeth to unlock the next one? Oh, I don't believe there's another faction yet. But, they've got a whole bunch of maps here. And there's a bunch of challenge maps and all that. I don't honestly remember. There's one of these that was like this UI has changed and it feels like I've got less information now. Because like there's one where you start on top of a mountain and you have your water source right there. You're like, oh, that's so cool. It's right here. And then you realize having the water resource right there is actually really bad because it means there's no upriver to help you. You can't block it off and up there. And it ends up being a whole thing. So you have to like slowly work your way down your mountain to, make it work. I don't remember half of these maps. I could have sworn they had previews before. 1,000 Islands. We're gonna go 1,000 Islands. I will leave it on the normal difficulty. I haven't played this anytime recently, so I have no idea on the scale of these things. And generally when I don't really have a good fix of how hard or easy a game is, I will go with whatever their default is, run with it, and adjust from there. That's the best. You bet the dentist profession makes significant coin in this game? Not serious. So they actually have, it's not a dentist, but they actually have a teeth sharpening wheel as one of your recreation items. Or self-help or care or whatever. What are we going to name our settlement? I mean, you can always do something fairly straightforward like Beaverton. Or, it's going to get dry. Naming things is hard, which means we're gonna go with naming things is hard. No, wait, don't use that. Woodsville, good enough for me. Woobsville, Woodsville, good enough for me. All right, so with the start, we've got our beavers. They pop out.
What's the worst that could happen?
We'll go ahead and take a sip here real fast. Now, I can actually name the beavers after people. With how many beavers we get, it will actually get very tedious very fast if I go doing that. So I don't think I'm going to do that. Okay, so this one, I have a ridiculous amount of water around us. Where's the water sources, though? Is the real question. So this is going to be, yeah, so this is a water source up here. You can tell by the stones on the side of it. And this is an area that leaves down here. I'm just trying to get a feel for where my water source is real fast before I commit to building anything. One of the major problems this game had back in the day is they used to have this district mechanic that you were required to use that effectively split your city up into sub-cities that you'd trade goods between. It didn't work well. Oh, is it literally just the one water resource? Okay, so I've got one giant water resource up there, but this is actually going to be real tough. The reason why this is difficult is water that reaches the edges of the map just falls off the edges of the map. You have to wall it off to retain that water. So even though there's all of this water here, it all comes from up here. When there's a drought, it will dry up to anywhere there's an area that goes off the map. And that is going to make it really challenging for me to store the water. Where is my island we are on? You're here somewhere. I know there's a button to teleport me back to it, but I do not remember what it is. There we are. Here's home. Yeah, so for here, I've got a reservoir over there that'll store water for a little bit. Oh man, this is going to be brutal to hold the water back. Okay, so what I could see doing is I could definitely try to expand across here, wall this off. Maybe try and make this a reservoir that would actually farm around here. Yeah, no, so that's the whole thing. Like, districts, you don't need them anymore. It's an optional thing. Alright, so I know the things I'm going to need to do is cut trees. We're going to mark all these trees down here to be cut down, because we will need those supplies. So we got all those queued. I need to remember what I even need. Oh, and the way science works in this game is, like, you see how there's these locks down here? I need a certain amount of research to be able to plant certain stuff. So you'll see a lot of buildings that I just don't have access to. We'll get those later. So, I'm trying to remember correctly that... Oh yeah, so... With the folktale, you just have to have beavers with enough housing and you'll get more beavers. With this group, we need breeding pods. Have I ever done oxygen not included? Yes, I have debated doing another run of that in the near future. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is try and get our necessities. We'll get our water here. I will need some water storage. And go ahead and put down a road here. Because basically everything needs to be connected to your main city building. We could start that on a slow speed. We will need food, so we can add a gathering hut. So let's go ahead and make our road go down here. We could drop off the gathering hut. We will need to make a road that goes down here. And we can put the woodcutter hut. Make the woodcutter a high priority and make this a high priority. You'll be a high priority workplace, but we will make it the highest priority there. So, water is one of your primary resources that you need. You need food, water, shelter, and otherwise you just need other things to get your workers all set up faster. So we do have a worker who's now going to work on collecting the berries. I am going to need a place to store those. One of the other fun things that this game allows is that you can build up. Oh, it's got some oxygen priority. Yep, that they do. They don't have like the whole like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of priority system. Bear with my chair is sinking. I was trying to navigate to the floor faster, but they do have some priority system to the game and all that. but it's nowhere near as in depth as the other one. All right, so you should be chopping down wood, so you've got that. We're waiting for other people to get stuff done. So next thing we can do is, if I remember correctly, over here we have our farmhouse, a fermenter. All right, that's new to me. So we can put our farmhouse down here, and we will need to put down crops. I don't really remember how much half of these things we need. But we'll figure it out. So let's look here at farmhouse fermenter. Fermenter plant produce nutritious food. Okay, so we can take whatever the pepper-looking things are and make that into food. So the pepper-looking things, the cassava, we can go ahead and plant that down here. I feel like I'm making this too big, but I can make it too big and we can just adjust it later. I'd rather have that and not have to worry about the other thing. So we have that getting built. The other thing I need to do is we're going to continue this road this way. And if I remember with this faction, you have the breeding pod. That basically, you have to put berries in the breeding pod and water in the breeding pod to increase your population. And it's kind of a juggle of how many breeding pods do you need to the rest. And we also need housing. So as I said, you could build up, so I could actually put this on top of the other place. I just have to make a way of reaching it. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Normally I like to put the housing and all that on dry tiles because they don't need water for the housing itself. I don't really have any easy to access stuff yet though. Let me just put it there. Later on we can move it. So we'll give him a moment to catch this up. We'll go to double time speed. But this is our weather forecast. Right now it's just everything's fine. Later on you'll start seeing where it goes, okay, drought, clean, you know, good weather, drought, good weather. Do we not have people assigned to build here? Go ahead and work. You got nothing better to do. Construction lacks materials. Oh, right. That's right. It's one of those things that early on it's worth building to two of the lumber places. So that way they can get started faster. Alright. So, not the cleanest start, but you know, that is what it is. I'm going to try to not go to absolute full speed more than I have to. Oh, and this is one of those games that they can just sleep on the ground. There's a lot of benefit to their morale and everything if they're not just sleeping on the ground. But this faction doesn't need houses to raise the population. Okay, so we're finally starting to pump water. So you can see our resources up here that we have 133 food, 0 wood, 2 water. That's the reason we're making these next. So we're chopping down our forest real fast here. I'm also going to go over here and designate all of these trees to be chopped down. All trees are forfeit. They can't be trusted. They won't be able to reach that all, but it just means what we'll end up doing is we'll go through. No good selected. You have multiple types of good. Interesting. I think the other one did too, but I thought it like defaulted to water for the small ones with the other faction. Alright. Hey, Luxray, Michigander, how's it going? Oh, before I forget, thank you everyone who's been popping in. The very last Sardine grabbing the first at the beginning. We also got Long Hauler, Mentally Ill Carrot, Darth Dragos, Michigander, Conright, Ujse, Pretty Pictures, It's Just Jess, TTV. We have Simon Cognito on their 10 stream streak, so thank you so much for continuing to tune in consistently for all the time. It does mean a lot. Sentient Cookie, Zimbo Man, and Luxray all popping in. Just got home from shopping? Excellent. Okay, so we have... I don't know what some of those icons are yet. So we've got our water set up okay for right now. We'll want to expand that later. But that will be important. We do need to get the storage building built up. We do need this. We do need the farm. 13 out of 15? Nice. As you can probably figure out, the deep water pump has to be near the edge. It honestly might be worth, over time, me putting platform down here to put the, use this is where we're going. I'm also noticing the water passing through here is going relatively fast. You can actually see the direction the water is flowing. But we are gonna have a lot of difficulty on this map because I need to find a way to keep the water secure. Right now, I could probably just get away with having a lot of water tanks and letting my crops die on droughts. That's definitely not a long-term viable option. If you could move over the whole map, you could wall off the edges here and retain the water in the whole map. It still evaporates very slowly, but that would be something. Okay, so you're going to be berries. So next thing I want to do is a log storage. That way, as we cut down all these trees, they will be getting stored. You can notice we're flying through this. We definitely want to get research going as early as possible. We have the inventor to do that. And the inventor, we will put... Yeah, thinking of how I'm going to lay this out. Because what we can do now is I'll take this, have this over here. I've got room for a barracks there. I'll probably have this go up here for a second water pump. We'll have our tanks over here or whatever. And that should work all right. But we'll have to get there and all that. And Pretty Pictures on a 15 stream streak, catching the last 15 streams without fail. Thank you so much for that. That is very kind of you to continue to catch each and every one of the streams. It does mean a whole heck of a lot. All right. So we are starting to get our water collected. That's good. I do have to get the research building up right away. Because one of the things I really need to do for the research is I need to, under wood, get the forester as fast as we can. Because what will ultimately happen with that is I will need the forester to plant trees so I can cut more trees down. Just saying, I also learned that there are no trailers for the truck. That you've had to buy a truck and farm or tractor farm sim. Gotcha. I thought there was a handful that did connect to there. Because, like, for example, like the really tiny water trailers, those do work with just like the regular trucks. So breeding is halted, waiting for nutrients, which is, you know, the berries in the water. And each one of these, I can't remember how many beavers each one of these supports, but there is like, this thing will produce, let's just say it's 6 beavers per cycle or whatever. You know, on average or whatever the amount is. So the idea is if you want your population to be a little higher, you build a second breeding pod. Yada, yada, yada. We're also going to need the thing to make planks, but it's also going to need to have power. You'll notice up on that thing it says 75 horsepower. So we go over here to power. We can make a compact water wheel. That would be nice, except for I have one big problem with that, and that is I don't actually have a place that I can hook that up. 7 per lifespan on average? Gotcha. So I'm going to have to do something like this, where I'll have a beaver who will run in the wheel, and then I'll have the building next to it to make all that. Alright, so we're still waiting for that. We're going to need more people. The wheel is backwards. It is backwards. Because there's the side that the beavers get into and a side it puts out power. Alright, so I need to let them keep getting their work done. I'm gonna have to destroy these two. Trying to remember. Ah, here we go. It's under this. They have to have them destroy these two so they can get up this ramp to continue cutting more trees. Because as I mentioned, it's based on the
What's the worst that could happen?
the path. Like, and these roads will get cleared up. Like, the roads don't cost really anything. So I'm just making the roads so they can reach the trees. Because that's part of what's lagging behind in here. So we do have a bunch of crops planted here. What does the kitchen cost to make? We gotta be careful that I'm not overspending. Oh, it's the fermenter. It also requires power. That'll be a problem. I'll have to probably put it here. And then we'll have to go and destroy these two bushes as well. I need to stop queuing up more stuff. I'm doing the thing I typically do, which is I just keep queuing up more and more and more, waiting for things to get done, and then they don't get done because I've queued up too much. Alright. No good selected. You do wood. Ah, there's new materials I have to worry about. Okay, so they have done that. That's it. They'll go in order of queue, then of resources. Yep, I'm aware. You don't need to outline like each function of the game. I've played before. Oh, you're telling chat? Yeah, no, but that's probably one of those things that, like, you know, people can figure it out if they're gonna play it. Press Q for sneak. Yes, those are all able to cut down, so you should work on that. That has all our berries in range. Our beavers are happier than ever. You have reached a new well-being high score. So yeah, so if you look at this, these are all the needs that the beavers have. There are the ones like hunger, thirst. These are two that if you don't meet those, the beavers die. All the others are kind of optional stuff, but the happier the beavers are, there's lots of benefits and all that. Hey, Belnar, thank you so much for the raid. I do have yourself a good stream, and were you streaming Terraria today? What were we streaming today? Valheim, that's right, Valheim. I do hope you had yourself a good stream in Valheim. I remember you're getting pretty late in your Valheim run last I recall, but I hope you had a good one. And for those who don't know Belnar, fantastic content creator, also a member of the Halcyon Frequency stream team, but plays a lot of indie games over there, like been playing a bunch of Terraria, Calamity Mod, been playing some Valheim, among other things, so definitely all worth checking out. Hopefully killing the Mistlands boss tomorrow? Nice. I have not done the Mistlands. The last time I played Valheim, the Mistlands, you could go there, but there was nothing existed there. It was just kind of spider webs, if I remember correctly, and no monsters or anything. But I haven't played Valheim in a little while. But welcome in, Raiders. But yeah, I do hope you had yourself a good stream and all that. As for us, we have only been going a little bit now that we have started playing Timberborn, which is a post-apocalyptic city builder featuring sentient beavers. But with all that said, we're in the early game. I haven't played in a really long time, so there's a lot of stuff I don't remember. And we're just going with that. We are in the early game like we just began. You became a Viking wizard today, and it's really fun. I didn't know they had magic. Alright, so that's good. So we do actually have our industrial mill going. We've got a research building going, so this is important because I do need to get 60 research so I can get the forestry. Without the forestry, you can actually get yourself into a soft lock state where you're going to die. Because you cut down all your trees and they don't just come back on their own. You've got to plant them, and that's what the forestry does. So we are going to want to make that happen. I'm half debating just putting the forestry up here and just planting the trees up here. It's probably going to have consequences. We are trying a map I haven't tried before, and it looks absolutely brutal. So I'm surrounded all by water, and that sounds good. But there's only one water source in the entire map, and it's on the other absolute side of the map up here. So there's really not a good way to retain the water that I'm seeing. So that's a bit sketch, but we'll have to figure that out. Because unlike most survival city builders where, you know, it's you go spring, summer, fall, you have to like get all the crops you can, get all your firewood, get all your food sorted out, get like all the homes built, like get everything lined up. And then winter happens and just kind of have the materials to like ride out winter and then repeat. This one, they don't have those kinds of seasons. They have the wet season and the drought. And so what happens is the wet season, everything's normal, happy, hunky-dory. And then the drought hits. And when the drought hits, the water straight up nopes out. There's just no more water. I didn't look at how much housing this even provides. 10. And I have how many beavers? 12, so I need another. But yeah, so a big part of this is water management. That you try to like make reservoirs and dams and levees and all that to put the water where you want it and keep it there so that you can ride out the droughts. I feel like what's going to ultimately happen is I'm ultimately probably going to try and wall off some of this area, like put a wall across here. But like try and make this an area I could build in and keep this as our reservoir. Like I could potentially just literally wall across that entirely. But there's just so much space I'd have to deal with that we're definitely going to need to go pretty deep into making sure we get all of the wood we can to start building up a bunch of that stuff. Because I am going to have to figure out ways to keep the water trapped here. I could build a bunch of platforms, dam off that. This is just too... like, I mean, I can dam this off. I probably will. But this is a lot of material investment to dam that off. To try and prevent losing water off the sides of the map down here. Because they can't realistically go the whole way down here and wall that off in the short term. That would be a long term. Like long term, I could go to the edges of the map and wall them off completely. But that much surface area, evaporation starts to become a problem. You still got trees in range? Not many. So let's go up here. We're going to have to move those forward. I'll put one here. Put the other one there for right now. These are now high priority. Because I really need to get where we're getting our wood from moved forward. Because like I said, if I put my wood production up here, that'll be important. All right, so we did that, so we can get rid of these two down here. Yeah, and I could reach those little trees when they go down there. And this covers literally the whole area up here now. So every single tree on our island we can get access to. But we need our 60 research, and then we can worry about the next thing. What are you waiting on? You're just waiting on someone to build. That's fine. Yeah, so right now our wood is our big bottleneck. Wooden research, we'll get that going. We'll get our forestry as our first research thing. I'll put it here somewhere, like wherever the range makes sense. I'm going to try and make this a giant area for forest up here, just like really go all in. Knowing I won't have nearly as much space for my beavers down here. because I am going to need a completely obnoxious amount of wood to do anything with this water. Like, short term, I think we're just literally going to try and wall off areas over here. Like, just wall off as much around the area as we can. Definitely, like, block this off. And try and just give ourselves a reservoir. Because I can't raise the water level reasonably until we get everything else sorted out. So that's gonna need... We're gonna need another one of the breeding pods to increase our population. So let's go ahead and get that. So I need to be pretty sparing about my my wood use until the forestry is done. Because like I said, you can get yourself in an unrecoverable state if you just over invest in the in your usage of wood early on. Man, there are just so many ways for the water to leave the map. Yeah, because this is at a higher elevation, so that gives me opportunity there. But that does meet up with the rest. So, I mean, ultimately, the place I could store water is I have this deep spot here. That's one. I could, like, put a wall here. I could wall this off and make myself a reservoir. But that's pretty far away from where we're starting. So that'll be tricky to take advantage of. No recipe selected. Fermented cassavas. Have a good time. Alright, so you're going to start making planks as soon as we get someone able to run in here. Here, we're going to take 2 beavers off of that. I manually assigned them earlier. Alright, so we're starting to make our planks. That's what we need for our forestry, and we're 3/4 the way to being able to buy our forestry. So that'll be good. And we can get all that going on. Alright. Hey, Pronger, how's it going? And as a reminder, about halfway through stream, we will switch games. We're very early on in stream, though, so don't worry. You got a couple hours until that's a concern. It'll be about 11 p.m. my time, which is about 3 hours from now, is about the halfway point in the stream. But that'll be the point we switch games. It'll probably be to Farm Simulator again. We were playing Traveler's Rest. Unfortunately, we hit a bug that my employees won't show up for work, which really kind of limits that game. You really kind of do need your employees. I had someone send me a thing that supposedly is a way to fix it, but that happened during the stream. If I can get the employees to work, we'll play more Traveler's Rest. If I can't, then, then effectively the game's soft locked, so I'll just have to like revisit it after we can get through that. But we can worry about that when we get there. Now you'll notice something here where this ground is all green here, and then this is dry, like it's all cracked. I can't grow trees in that on this area, or plants, or farms, or anything. Where the green I can. That green is determined by effectively how far away it is from water. And that's one of the things that makes the drought so terrible. That if I can't retain enough water, that literally all of this will dry out when the drought comes through, and it'll kill off most of the trees and plants if it goes long enough. And the game does have a thing where for each in-game cycle, I don't know what they're supposed to equate to, but each in-game cycle that it goes from the wet to dry season, the wet seasons will gradually get shorter, and the dry season will gradually get longer. So the amount of water you need to retain becomes more and more and more of an issue as you play through the game. Okay, so I believe I have all of the supplies we need for the forestry. We just gotta wait for those last 4 points of research. But the point is, I can't grow trees or other stuff on these tiles here. So I'm going to want to put the forestry on that area where I can reach the green area. Now, ideally, you could also just put it on a green area, but I want to put up here and just like make this a dedicated. This is where the wood comes from. All right, so we've unlocked the forestry. Okay, so if I put the forestry here, I can reach all of the green on the top level, and a pretty good chunk of the lower level as well. So that should serve us. Now, the downsides, I have this area up here. I don't really have much of use. Actually, I could probably reach up there as well if I put the path through there. So once they build the forestry, we can go here and say we would like to put down plants. For right now, all of this is going to be berries. I definitely won't be able to sustain that, but we're just going to overinvest in all that. There's not really a consequence for me overinvesting. I'll just have to like plow it up later. But since I need that for my beavers to make more beavers, that's gonna be a big thing. The other thing we're gonna need to do is not crops, the trees. So you get a bunch of different options. Oh, that's interesting. Coffee, and that's new to me. So you get a bunch of tree options, and there's pros and cons with a lot of them. So you got birch, so every 9 days I get a unit of wood. I've got pine, which is every 12 days I get 2 units of wood. Mangrove, we get every 10 days 2 units of wood. Oh, this plant must be partially submerged? Oh, interesting. They added a tree I could put underwater. Yeah, it's just a little ways. Okay. That's new. That's neat. And it's slightly more efficient than than the pine. And then you've got oak, which oak is the best for getting just straight up as much wood as possible, because you get 8 for 30 as opposed to 2 for 12. But you've got to wait for it. So the answer is you want to blend early on, and then later on you can mix it up more. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the pine. And we'll set all of this over here to be pine. And then I'm going to go down here. Just say all of you. You're going to be oak. Here, we're just going to go. The thing I need to keep in mind is that I don't set it on the dry tiles. Because it won't grow on the dry tiles. But then this also give me a place up here. So I could go ahead and make a large wood stockpile right there, because we'll just collect the wood, we'll put it right into that building, it'll be good. Okay, and we did improve our welfare. We've got some hunger going on. We are basically out of food, which is not even remotely ideal. No good selected. You're going to be that. So let's deprioritize this building for right now, so we get the fermented cassavas going. Because we have run out of food because I wasn't watching, which is definitely not ideal. Oh, so this area, I have to unzone that area. That's not going to ever grow. They've got a couple more tiles over here to unset. Couple more there. Okay, I think we've got... Yeah, just trying to unset those dry tiles, because the trees won't grow there. And right now, I'm not going to do anything to manipulate the... Yeah, so a lot of our beavers are now at the point that we are starving. So we're doing great for our start, let me tell you. Let's go ridiculous with all this right now. Berries. This is going to be completely undoable, by the way. And you can reach all of it, so that's perfect. So I've literally dedicated all of our land right now to just growing things. That's very much not going to be something we can do for long-term, medium-term, any of that. But right now, because we have an immediate crisis, we're going to deal with it that way. I will also add road along there so I can put more growth vats back there later. We'll give ourselves another source of water. So our well-being is crashing because we're going to start having people die soon because they're starving. And it's going to boil down to them cooking as fast as they possibly can. For the moment, turn this building off. Give all of that horsepower, every last bit of it, to our fermenting our cassavas so we can eat those. We can also go over here. Hey, our well-being is recovering because everyone's eating cassavas. And they're even happier because they got a new type of food. We're still not out of the crisis phase, but we did manage to at least buy ourselves a little bit more time before immediate problems. Alright. So with that, how is our research doing? Are we good to get platforms yet? The really tiny platform? Nope, that's 100 research. Because if I put some platforms, I can actually build on top of this water. It'll be, again, very cost prohibitive on the resource usage. But right now, I have very little space to work with. So space is my bigger limitation. So we're going to tell them to empty this building of the wood. We are moving that wood to be up here, right here with the forestry. Because then I can reassign this to another material. I don't know what. Probably planks. Actually. Yeah, I can go ahead and set that to planks. So they're going to empty the logs out, put them in there. That will have a pain point of, that means the logs are nowhere near our plank production. It is what it is. Do you want possibly useless tips? As long as they're not, like, too far into, you know, just straight up telling me how to play, it'd be fine. Like, the big problem right now is I'm gonna have to, you know, block a bunch of water off. We're gonna really have a rough time with this first drought. The good news is the drought is 3 days out, and it shouldn't last particularly long. Yeah, so we've got food. We've got ingredients for stuff. We're waiting for these berries to grow back. It's going to take the forestry a while to do anything. No priority whatsoever, just go for it. Let's say, I don't know if you know, but you can build roads underwater so you can reach the other islands with 2 stairs. Yep. Well, my goal isn't necessarily to reach the other islands right away. That's certainly worthwhile. What was I going to put in here? Oh, I was going to put the fermented food in there. That's right. So I could empty that out into this building. And then there's the berries over there. That's fine. So this should handle 14 beavers, and we're currently at 13. I do think we want another growth vat, which will take us to the point that I do need to build more barracks. Let's just do this right now. Not a particularly great use of our resources, but it'll give us more of a buffer for water. You wasted so much platform to... Oh yeah, no, I know that, like, the beavers, they're beavers. They can walk through the water just fine, even under deep water and everything. But it is a thing that we will have to, we'll have to get stuff sorted. We need to increase our food supply. They seem to be perfectly entirely able to handle this. I thought I was putting down too much, but I'm clearly wrong. Just go for it. Just really lean in and see how well you can do. We'll end up having to tear a lot of this up to make room for other stuff, but we can worry about that when we get there. For the moment, I just need to get more and more down so that we can get our food secured. All right. Hey, human. Yep, no, it's a great game. I played it plenty in the past. Alright, so we're having our farmers try their absolute best to keep things going. Normally what I like to do with this, I like to build 2 farmhouses, and I'll have one prioritize planting and the other prioritize harvesting. That way, like, both operations are constantly going at all times. We haven't built that yet, but we'll get there. So, keep storing water. We can definitely put more of our stuff up here as well. Alright, so we will need the teeth grinder soon. We can plunk that up there. Because otherwise they'll get a debuff called Broken Teeth. And they'll get upset about it. They won't die or anything from it, but they'll get upset about it. They have hauling posts we don't need to worry about. Don't need to worry about that. That'll be stuff for later. Oh yeah, I forgot there is like the water pump and the water dump. It's super inefficient, like it's super duper laborious. But it is a way you can make an artificial reservoir by just like pumping water, taking up into a big area and just dropping it down. But the poor beaver working that just never gets a break. And you need a lot of beavers to amount to enough that it's gonna keep ahead of stuff like evaporation and usage and whatnot. Yeah, so I don't have enough adult beavers to work all the jobs. Even though I don't really need to do these things, like I said, we're leaning in right now because we've been riding the fence so far as food, and we're not even through our first drought yet because I just didn't invest enough. We're just going way over the top on just every bit of, you know, land we can use for production of stuff. We're just going for it for right now, and then later on we will we'll switch it off, start building other buildings in here. We'll probably put a bunch of our buildings up here in this area that I'm not reasonably going to be able to get water to, so far as like growing things. So like it'd be worth me eventually moving our inventor up here, moving our houses up here, because it like getting water up here would be a big pain. Just not worth the effort. Another thing we'll eventually want to do is set up a water wheel. Right now, the reason I'm not is if you look at the speed this water is going, it is just crawling along. It's just too broad of an area with not enough water being forced into it. But we're getting pretty close to the beginning of the drought. We are having more beavers be born now. It's just a matter of waiting for them to get old enough to be able to actually work some of these jobs. I'm already going to go in here and say, hey, you know where I signed these to be here? I changed my mind. No, I didn't change my mind. We're not putting it there. We're going to need another house. We can put that up there. Keep using our ground that's not irrigated. Keep that moving along. Alright, so we're about to hit our first drought. So, to show you... You got a small greenhouse? Nice. Yeah, now you've done that, as long as you keep water in it for your farm sim, at least you know you're going to be... Like, unless you've got a lot of stuff that's burning money on you, at least you know you have some income. Which that's farm sim they're talking about. So, if you watch here, when this drought rolls in, this is how aggressive the droughts are in this game. This is the danger period of the game. So it's gonna like make a little tick 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 noise to like warn me that the drought is about to hit. But we'll drop it back to normal speed so you can see how fast. So the drought has started, and just the water flows away. And this all starts to just turn barren. So plants and trees and none that can no longer grow there. The plants there don't die instantly. If I click on this, it says, hey, you've got 11.5 days before this dies. But you'll just watch as gradually the water will like it'll go down here, and then as it goes down to the next spot. You start growing or wait until September? Oh, for your greenhouse? Greenhouse, just let it grow all the time. Hey, good time to zone to you as well. So yeah, so you see where now it's the drought is getting past where we're at. So now all my fields are going dry. So now I no longer have any water anywhere on any of my property. So it's just what I've got in storage. And we just have to ride it out for days. So we might actually be in a lot of trouble. I didn't know what to expect with this map. It's a rough map. So you can't farm anything. The good news is none of these are going to die. They all have like 9 days they could be without water before they all start dying off. Oh, nope, that's not true. These might die, because while the drought lasts for 2.4 days, and this has 2.7, it does take a little while for the water to reach them. So we have to fix that problem as soon as possible. So the next move we're going to go ahead and do is for here. I'm going to need platforms to get me between places, which does mean I need to turn this building back on. Because I'm going to need an absolutely unreasonable amount of planks. Are there mods or something? So there are 2 factions you can play as. You can play as the Folktale, and you can play as the Iron Teeth. And they have different stuff for them. So I think the Kasava might be an Iron Tooth only one. I don't know. It's also had a bunch of updates, so it could also be it's an update thing. We're going through that water way faster than I want to be. We have a couple of these ones in the back edge that have water, because this still has water in there because it's a little lake. But we want to deliberately create little lakes like that. So we apparently already have dams to start with. I thought we had to unlock those. What we're going to do here is we're going to cut a path through there. How do you buy water and wheat? For your greenhouse? So water on most maps, there's a place you get it. For No Man's Land, there's like a spigot up by where the tractor is. So if you look at the tractor building, there's on the left, there's a gas, there's on the right, there's a spigot. You can pull anything that can store water up to that. Like any trailer can hold water. And just sometimes it'll just give you water, sometimes it'll give you the option of water if it can hold multiple things. You can also, for $3,000 in that game, you can buy a building that, you know, it's under construction containers. That'll give you water. But you do have to pay for the water for the one that's not the mod, and you have to pay for the water, or you don't have to pay for the water that is the mod. But you still will need a vehicle that can hold water in it. The cheapest one is like $3,000. But it only holds like 2,000 liters, so it will take you like 10 laps to fill up a large greenhouse with it. Okay, so we are getting close to the end of the drought. We definitely did not do this drought well. We're right about to run out of water. Now, the beavers don't just instantaneously die when there's no water. They do start to dehydrate, and then if it's not resolved after enough time, then they die. We are still dealing with that. Yeah, so I need to be putting all the effort I can into holding back water as much as possible. I'm going to try and get a set of dams here. We'll cut across this way. Try and get a set of dams over here. I don't think we'll be able to get all the way over there. Like damming this off, I think, is out of our reach for the moment. Honestly, I would really like to get a set of dams over this way as well. Is there even a place I can walk down here? Gotta be a place that can get off this island, right? No, I have to use stairs. Okay. It'd be interesting if I could get the set of stairs and get it to where, like, literally you could walk over the edge of the map and dam that off. And then repeat here. And just, you get the idea. Go to each section and just start walling areas off more and more to hold the water at that level. The vehicle under what section? Oh, if you're looking for the trailer for storing water, it's under animals. Hey, Annabelle. How's it going? Yeah, so the water stuff in Farm Sim is under animals because initially that's what you use the water for in the game, was for taking care of your animals. We really want this this drought to end here. Yes, the dams are much cheaper than the platforms. We'll do the stairs next. That takes 70. So we can run down here and we can try, you know, damming off as much as possible. Now, the thing is, I'll have so much surface area, evaporation will be a problem, because there is evaporation in this game. But we are going to try and see what I can do to slow the rate we lose our water. So if I can wall this side off as well. Like, I'll need to wall off this area and this area to really make a difference. This one's no problem. I can honestly probably get this walled off pretty easy. They won't be able to reach it yet, but we'll queue that up to be built. You've got those. Queue that up to be built. This is the one that I'm not sure about how to approach it. Alright, so drought has ended, so we go back to where the water source is. You actually see where this fills in super fast. Like, the water starts coming through and just instantly back to lush green. I do think we're gonna lose our crops, because we didn't retain any water at all. We just straight up just took it to the face. And we'll need to go over here to these trees and say, clear this line of trees out. Oh, that's no, I keep going for that spot. Clear that line of trees out when you get the chance. But yeah, so you can see it's going to take a while for that water to actually reach us. Yeah, no, just yes, the water trailers are under animals in the attachments, whatever you want to call them, area. It's just the way they've opted to go with it. So we are having our beavers are starting to get dehydration. Luckily, the water has arrived just in time. You can also get levies. They're also 120. Yeah, so you have our welfare is dropping because of dehydration problems. So hopefully get that sorted. We started having our first couple of beavers dying of old age. And Usei on their 10 stream streak, been streaming, or it's not 10 stream streak. 10 stream streak, as in they've seen 10 streams here in a row without missing any. So thanks so much for that. Let's see, you don't see them, meaning one of your mods must have done something. Just gonna Google it. Oh, gotcha. Hey, Streets the Mage, how's it going? Alright, so we've got everything set up here. We just need to pump enough water that everyone gets their water before they die of dehydration. We haven't had any die yet, but you know, it's rough. Food is also getting dangerously low. You're tired but doing good? Gotcha. So hopefully that gets sorted soon. Alright. We still got some who are hungry, and we still have some who are dehydrated. But they shouldn't be in too much risk of like dying for a little bit longer. Alright, that one has a broken tooth, so it's sharpening its teeth. Alright, so we're basically stockpiling wood as fast as we can, turning that wood into planks, and then trying to get those planks set up so that we could start building platforms and other such stuff. Because then I could build a start building platforms over the water to give myself a lot of room to build that isn't using my my growable space. Okay, so everyone's fed and has water now, so that's good. We still need to increase our population. I've got too many jobs for not enough people to work them. I just came to realization with something. Don't. So that way I can use this land for other buildings. How's the game going? Pretty good so far. Meanwhile, let's go to our trees. Okay. Got 2 more spots there. I could still... Alright. Just clearing stuff out, getting more trees down, all that. Because the goal here is that I want it to make it so that we get enough of the pine trees, or not pine trees, we get enough of the fast-growing trees early, and then we go real heavy into some of the other trees later. That should all work. We're cutting down more trees up here. Pretty soon we're going to start having problems. We're not really getting... Oh, you need to have that as a priority as well. We will make... Yeah, so that one's a reduced priority, so we're not actually making the planks. That's kind of the problem I have right now that we're running into, is I just don't have enough beavers running around to do stuff. These vats should support up to 21 beavers, but we're going to need more than that. Let's go ahead and make another vat. Yeah, we go over here and say, don't worry about the plants there and there. We can make a path here. Our beavers are getting hungry again. We're just trying to ride this out until we start getting our latest plants out of this. Just gonna take time. And hopefully we don't die in that meantime. Because we did lose pretty much our whole crop here. There's the stairs. Alright, so I actually want levees for that down there. Not the actual dam. So you can actually see the water isn't even getting as high as it used to. It's not quite filling this up. It's got too many places it's running off the edge of the map for the quantity of water to do its job. It is going to be a thing. Oh, actually, we're gonna mess this up big time, aren't we? Because we're gonna block this off, and the water's just not gonna get to this side. We're gonna have to deal with that soon. I shouldn't have built those there. I should have built platforms. But we will do our best to try and resolve all this. And go here. Put that there. This is going to be horrifically inefficient, by the way. But I can send them to very, very slowly do the work if I have any spare people. So again, no one has died of starvation yet. We've definitely gotten to the point where things are spicy, that they're definitely not where we want them to be. But no one's actually died of dehydration or starvation yet. Even though we're on the fence of constantly running out of food, which should get better once we get these to the point they're ready to harvest. Same with the berries. We're getting more of the berry bushes down here. So we should be in good shape food-wise once we get there. Considering we're putting like almost all of our resources into these things. Alright. I need you to keep having more babies and keep those building up. This food is getting dire. Yeah, the plan is I'm going to not build dams, I'm going to build levees along the edges of the map. Because if I do that, I can actually, you know, put a levee on top of a levee on top of a levee and just keep building it up. But we'll try to avoid getting that. So our water is in good shape. I'm going to deprioritize this water. And let that person run off and deal with some of the other things I need doing. So I've got one that's still prioritized, and the other one is reduced priority. Alright, and we can go down here. Let's see, do you run up to the store to buy wheat seeds? You can buy them from the store, yeah. They'll be like, was it pallets or whatever you buy? Like, they'll be like big box or whatever for seeds. You can buy it that way. Yeah, they're starving. We're doing what we can, but they are starving. Oh, thank goodness, all the crops are starting to grow all at the same time. So food is on the way. Timberborn's going well. I actually didn't end up picking up anything during the winter sale. I actually haven't done that the last couple years. I end up coming around to a later kind of thing. No, we're not researching either. I need you beavers to grow up. I will say, this is a hard map. This is definitely one of the hardest maps I've done. Like, I've done the one where you start like the little teeny tiny top spot at the top where you're on top of the water resource. There's just no volume to your ability to retain the water. And even with that one, like, it definitely didn't feel nearly as rough. Oh, where are you going to? Are you taking the least efficient possible route there is to do that? Alright, put those two pieces in place. Oh, no, I see what you're doing. Okay, so we're just going to intervene real fast. And we're just going to get rid of that segment of path so they stop doing that. They're trying to build that tile of, like, these tiles of the dam way over here first versus going through there. So they're gonna die because they're running the entire length of the map to do one thing. So we gotta put an immediate stop to that problem. I'm trying really hard to recover from this. We're stuck waiting. So what we're stuck doing is we've got food happening. It's just taking its sweet time. Oh good, a bunch of them just grew up. That's more workers to get stuff done. Alright, let's one thing we could probably do now is let's go here. Those four, they're gone. We're gonna make that another farmhouse. We'll have one prioritize planting, the other one prioritize harvesting, so it's not just ping pong. That will do one, then the like we'll do them both at the same time. That'll help balance out our food. The buildings... That's fine. We deprioritized the planks, so they get other stuff done. We had our first death due to hunger. We may have scuffed this entire thing. And that's basically, yeah, everyone's dying. We've killed this run. We just lost like 5 people at the same time. Yeah, and that's basically to the fact that we tried this map. I didn't realize how much a big deal the like I recognized in the beginning that's like, oh, water retention, this is gonna be rough. But I figure we could probably just weather the first drought without consequence. We might still try and see if we can't recover it. But definitely not in a great place. Drop you to a neutral consideration, because we don't need that to be as high priority. You're at neutral as well. We've got one of our water things is high. You are set to be very high. Set both of you to be high. Like, and also the issue is we're not getting new beavers right now because we're eating all the berries because we're starving because just we fell behind in food. Okay, so we're not The starvation is starting to tone down. We're starting to get some reserve of food here. But we did lose like 5-6 people all at once, and you've only got one new replacement. How old are you? Can I see how old you are really fast? We got one of them near death, old age. We got 3 of them are probably going to die before we can get our adult beaver. All right, I think that's bad enough. We're gonna do a restart because it's gonna be those things. I'm gonna lose 3 more. Real quick here, because I messed up that first drought real bad. This is what happens when you don't play the game forever. And we're not even ready for the next drought. So, like I said, it is a survival city builder. And subsidy don't. I don't know, like that's a fun challenge map. I don't think that's a map I want to do because like the fun is like, you know, damming up the rivers and doing all that. So we tried that map. I also think I might just do the folktale. That's fine. We'll do the Iron Teeth again. Yeah, so we had done what was that? Terraces? 1,000 Islands. So those ones are really tough. I wish all of these are big. We have Helix Mountain. I could have sworn they used to have previews of their maps. I think Helix Mountain is the one where we start at the top of the mountain, right by the water source, and it like spirals down kind of thing. Oh yeah, no, it's a whole thing. Like, especially when you haven't played a game that's, you know, you play it, you come back, you immediately jump on like a difficult map or whatever after not playing it for what's probably been, it's probably not been a year. Oh, okay, so the game was acting like it was crashing there for a moment, but it looks like it recovered. All right. We'll just go Wooddale or something like that. Let's see. One of the popular guides for Timberborn is a tour of each of the vanilla maps. Yeah, that was one of the things. Is like, I could have sworn. Oh, this is not the one I thought it was. What is this mountain? Okay, it's definitely not the map I thought it was, but that's neat. Does it just keep spiraling forever? Is it? Oh no. Okay, there's got other branches off it. Like, why would I not just dam off that? Oh no, it is. Okay, so this. The water retention, I don't actually think I want to do this map. Like, this is going to be an easier map. Nah, let's do a more interesting map than that one. Let's go and do a more interesting. It is interesting, but it feels like that whole top area is just kind of going to be not that interesting to deal with. Like, just kind of go to waste. That was Helix Mountain. We did the Terrace Island. No, we did Terraces or Terrace Islands. Yeah, like, I just genuinely don't remember the maps because there was a map that you start at like the top of the mountain, you work your way down. It's a hard map. And then this one ends up being kind of like something we don't do. We just do the rivers or whatever, the default map that they recommend. That's fine, Woodsdale. Okay, so what do we got here? Yeah, this is the one I'm thinking about. So you start up here and this looks great, and then you come to realization that's your water source, and there's nowhere to put any of the rest of that. So that ends up being a real big problem. So let's go ahead and start this on off. Just like before, we will need to have places to get our resources, so we'll go here. One will go that way. One will go this way. And we'll put the lumber flags here. And the gather flags there. We can start with that. And we'll go down this way. And put you there. Now try and get this all going really quick so we can get back to what we were doing. I'm blanking on... There you are. Alright, so let that get started to set up. So basically we're getting our berry sources and we're getting this. We will also need, in the early game, we will need the inventor. Here. Let's be smart about this. So we'll put storage. For the moment, do I want to keep that right there? What are you? Oh, I haven't marked any trees to be cut down. That's on me. Get rid of all those trees. Get rid of all these trees. So the downside is we are very limited on this one so far as the trees. But they've got the assignments there. We'll get that built. I will need some water storage. Now, a lot of times the water storage, it's good to have it like right here so it doesn't have to travel far. I think for this time, I'm not going to do that, which is probably a mistake. So I can put some cloning vats and all that there. We'll need storage for our goods, so let's plan here. So we have the first storage room. This will be for berries. We get that going. We will need to have power. And one of the nice things here is this time I could use the wheels. So you can put the power there. Is there a ramp down there anywhere? There's no ramp down there, so we won't worry about the second wheel right now. We'll let them build the wheel. And then once they built the wheel, we can turn around, we can put the thing for making lumber. Whatever it is. Because now that we have water flow here, we'll get a little bit. Got a whole spruce tree? Yep. Alright. But I want to try and get these online as fast as we can. And we'll also definitely want to have the lumber storage. So for right now, I'm going to put that there. I will need the farmhouse, which I'll put up here, kind of along the edge of that, and we can queue up growing a ridiculous amount of that. You gotta be careful on how much I'm leaning into all this stuff. Do we have the growth vats yet? We do not have any growth vats yet, so I will have to do those as well. That gives us at least a tiny fraction of a percent of increased population. Okay, water gets to be high priority. And you're high priority. And you're high priority. Okay. Oh, we could just make the path that goes straight up that hill, can't we? No good. Set. We'll set you to water. And we definitely will want a second one of these, but that is for a not the second issue. Do I have to have the... I can't remember if I have to have the path go straight to it. That's fine. We can get that set up. Then we could go over here and have the whole thing that will let us make planks. Because it's being powered by that, that's a whole less person that goes, even though it won't be running at top efficiency. It's fine. We will want barracks. Of which I will need 2. We got more water storage. But before things get too out of hand, we want to immediately go over here and get our dams built. We don't want to wait on that. That is going to be urgent, urgent, urgent stuff. If we put that in, then I can retain all of this as a water buffer. It's not a great amount of water, but it will help. No good selected. You are... Where are you at? You're those things. No, you're not. You're not. Those things are berries. What am I doing? Where are you, berries? There you are. You're berries. Meanwhile, we need the inventor. That's necessity for continuing our stuff, so put the inventor there. And what do you need? You don't need planks, do you? You just need logs. Okay. Alright, so we are trying to get that going, because we need to get the forestry going as fast as possible. This time I'm going to go for the quick wood right away, and we'll put just a little bit of oak, so we might put like the oak up here to do a whole bunch of things. You bought the wrong pallet, you bought the biggest one. Yeah, no, unfortunately there's a lot of that. There's just a bunch of trial and error. You gotta watch videos or whatever, play with others. That is one big thing about farm sim, is they do very much just not give you enough information, and just it can be summarized as figure it out. They're just like, you'll figure it out, or you won't. I don't care. That's just how they approach it. Yeah, so I'm trying to hold off queuing up too much more and getting myself in trouble. That needs to be a higher priority. 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 Okay, so you've got that built. That first drought that I didn't handle properly, basically we had a big die-off from starvation as a result of it. Ah, boo. Alright. And the only reason I'm giving that a higher priority there is so I can get it done, so I can position the next building. But I know it happens. I'm rusty. It was bound to happen. I do need to get these in here real fast, so that by the time the first drought rolls through, this is full of water. We need to get that done. We need everything. If we could just get all of the things done at the same time, that would be great. That is the ideal outcome I could go for, is just if everything could also simultaneously be finished. Like right now, it's the wood is our big bottleneck. We're also not getting nearly enough water. Alright. Hey, Karos, how's it going? This feels like the music for Loop Hero. Which Loop Hero has like absolute banger music. But the music I've got playing right now feels like it belongs in Loop Hero. Everything's a priority, so nothing's a priority. We're already in bad shape. I've been doing the thing where I build too many things at the same time, so none of them are getting done. And so we still don't have a single crop in the ground yet. which is going to absolutely screw us. Cool, so we've got them working here. They're prioritizing growing stuff finally, so that's good news. We can go ahead and delete these tiles now. And what I'm going to do here, so fermenter goes there. I'm going to lower that to a very low priority construction for the moment. Because of what I'm hoping to do. Actually, I didn't need this. That was a waste. What I can do here is we'll take this now and say I want that and turn it this way. But this should get power to this building, which should get power to that building. What we'll do instead is we'll take this path. Oh, goodness, it did give me my log back. Oh yeah, no, if in farms if you bought something you don't need, it can be worth just selling it back right away. Now, granted, you take a pretty bad loss still at it, but, you know, if you bought something you're not going to be able to use for a long time, they do depreciate, so if you just have it sit there forever and ever, you lose more and more of its value. You are better served by just selling it and moving on. But how do you sell the pallet? Oh, I'm sorry. You're saying you have a pallet and you can't... I see. My understanding... I misunderstood. You have a pallet of goods and you cannot move the pallet of goods. Yeah, you're just gonna have to look at it and, you know, stare at it longingly and hope for the best. You can buy a really crappy thing of, like, forklift ends for, like, 1,000 bucks under, I believe, miscellaneous for a tractor. They're kind of a pain to use, those ones, but they do work. In a pinch. Alright, so we're about to get the dam done over there. Gotcha. Yeah, now it's always the tricky thing when you're playing the early game of Farm Sim, is you can get yourself in trouble when you're doing the challenge runs. We're in actually really bad trouble here. That I've been spending way too much resources, and I need this building to be done, I need that building to be done, and I need enough materials. I'm probably okay, I just need to not build anything else I don't actually need. I am going to need this building, though, now I look at it. Because I'm not going to get food. I'm scuffing all of this. Oh man, those barracks are so expensive. I forgot how little wood there is on this map. Alright, so we are going to need to move those. So we could actually reach all the wood up there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. And then once those are built, we'll get rid of these, get rid of that bit of road. And that should be able to reach all of this area. And Kiros, on a 5-stream streak, caught all 5 of the last streams without missing any, so thank you so much for that. Alright, so the thing I'm trying to decide how I want to navigate is I need to pop my dinner in the oven. I think I'll just let Tomb do it. because of those things I gotta pop it in the oven, then take it out later. I'll just let Tomb put it in, because otherwise it could be one of those things that if she doesn't get home as early as I need her to pull it back out, then I gotta pull it back out, and that ends up being multiple breaks and all that, you know, back to back. It's like, okay, it's probably better if I just leave there. The good news is we've got the dams here, so that does help retain some of the water. So instead of when the drought goes through, this falls down, it'll only go down to a certain level, so that where water retention is secured probably for the first one.
What's the worst that could happen?
So you put the logs in there. We're making good progress in actually building these things. We're going to lower the priority on the housing and let everything else get built. Because the housing just makes our beavers happier, which is still very good. Whereas the other stuff is more necessary. So we're doing okay on food. We got plenty of food stored. Our water storage is not really great. But on the plus side, I have where this is going to be buffered during the first drought. So we're probably okay on water for the moment. Long term, we're definitely not okay. But with the short term, we're fine. Just letting them run, keep building their stuff. I am going to need another growth vat. The growth vats I have there right now is just about what I need to sustain my population. But we need to be increasing our population. At least a tiny bit. Cool, we've got a research building going, so we can actually start researching the forestry. That means the only absolutely critical thing to avoid soft locking ourselves is I need to get the place that makes planks, and then once I have enough planks, the forestry. Once I have the forestry, we could be in kind of a rough spot early on, but we should be good. The forestry should be able to put along here or up here, and that'll take care of us. That should be getting built soon. Does you dare play King's Quest back in the 1990s? The Hydrate Redeems remind me of Dying for a Drink, Greyhound? From that? I don't remember the line because it's been too long, but I did play the old, like, I played King's Quest, I played Police Quest, I played Space Quest. I used to play a bunch of those games back in the day. Okay, we'll set the recipe here for the fermented cassavas. I will want to get 2 more warehouses soon, but that's not an immediate priority. Like, first I need to get ourselves in a position where we can sustain our wood. Until that happens, I need to stop building anything. Because once this wood's gone, it's gone. In fact, what I am going to do is I'm going to pause building these barracks at all, so that we can build this and have enough materials that we know we can build the forestry. Let's see, you need more water gens. The one you have, is it generating power for the placement? No, I know I need more. I don't have the materials. Like, right now, we have to wait for the industrial lumber mill to get finished, and then once that's done, would these all be connected? It won't be enough power, because that needs 75, and that wants, what was it, like 25 or something like that? 40? It doesn't tell me. So I know we're not going to have enough power to get the full efficiency out of it. But, we will have to do that. The other thing is we're not getting, like, it suddenly stopped getting any movement at all. But we'll have to deal with that when we get there. If I have to, I'll put, like, the hamster wheel along here, which I don't want to, but if I have to, I have to. Right now I'm hoping when we build, you'll see something happen. No. Well, that's lovely. And there's no stairs, or there's nothing here, so I can't physically build... I don't think we can build stairs. Yeah, no, they require planks, so... We are just gonna have to build a water wheel on here. Or not water wheel, We have to go down here and say, these plants... Get rid of them. And actually, for that matter, these plants, get rid of them. Yeah, no, that's the reason it's like, okay, I've got to just build this. I didn't want to, but it is what it is. Like, that'll be something we resolve later. Right now, it's just, I have to be careful about my spending on the wood. That plant can technically stay. It's fine, whatever. It doesn't matter until we have power. It doesn't matter what we grow here. Yeah, so I gotta get that built. Oh man, you're 40 wood. Killing me. We're gonna be in rough shape on the wood for a while. The good news is if I have to, I could delete a building to get some wood back. But it isn't a great place to be. I remember this being a big problem on this map, is right at the beginning of the game, you do not have much in the way of trees. So we have these other trees that will grow, which will help out a little bit. Like, we're not dead in the water amounts of wood yet. Like, we're soft locked or anything like that. But we're definitely not where we want to be. Come on. Alright, so once they get that up, they'll start making the planks. We're doing our research, so we basically just need to not do anything until we build our forestry. We've got what we need to make this work. What's up, Jess? No, that's why I was confused. I had asked, like, what do you need the wheat for, kind of thing. I wasn't really sure what was up with that. Alright, so you recover some wood from this. Being noob is suffering. Yeah, that's always the thing when you start a new game. You make mistakes. That's playing a new game. You make mistakes, and you follow those mistakes up with other mistakes until you learn enough that you stop making mistakes. I do think Tomb is home. So if you bear with me, chat, it is about that point that I go and I take my, like, 2-3 minute break or whatever. Because she may not know what's going on with, like, the dinner stuff. So let me go ahead and do my quick 2-minute break or whatever. And I'll be back in just a second. Just need to welcome her home, toss my dinner in the oven, all that kind of stuff, and I'll be back up. She'll probably be the one to bring up the dinner and all that. But thank you again for tuning in. I'll be back here in just a minute. It's also a good time to stretch your legs and do all this stuff for your own self-care. And I'll be right back. Storge. Walter's asking me questions about my coffee bean dealer. I'm not telling.
Raj is hot.
Raj is hot.
It is good for Raj.
Yes, good for Raj indeed. I love you.
I love you.
Tomb is just like, Raj is hot. Good for Raj. Raj is like, I know. I am dapper AF. But I'm not telling. I know what he... Let's do this the uncontrolled way. All right. I didn't do that right. What was that time span? But what would end up happening is, you know, you'd be a person who didn't really have a lot of prospects or opportunity where you were, and you could go someplace where there were prospects and opportunity. But what would happen is, for transportation and housing and lodging and everything else, you'd have to go through the company town, because the town, like the entire town, you'd Why did I die?
A ticket has been submitted for medical assistance.
I don't know what happened. I got thrown forward and hit the, I was crushed. Oh, please step forward when you get up. Please step forward when you get up. Buddy, you and me, let's do the worm over on this side. Alright, so it is 5 below now, and then continuing to go down. It should be flipping at some point, because it's 210.8 was the flip point. Oh, there we go. Steam is down to 5 kilograms. It's cooling down much more rapidly now. It's actually fluctuating wildly. The fanfare. The fanfare for sploosh. 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 I'm about to go. Oh, everything has stopped moving. What have we done? It's going to be an emerald eruption. Look at them continuing to expand frame by frame. They're continuing to launch into space. Oh god, what is this? Why? I have a frame. I have individual frame. Look at the height those things got. Just let it settle down. Okay. Surprisingly, didn't instantly go slideshow again.
Left again. Keep going. Keep going into the garage.
It moving. Oh, you are too
find
late.
Some Tupperware or hide behind the truck.
Oh, you're
Either
safe.
one.
It's not hunting anymore.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, Pank got away by like
It sounds like
nothing.
we're by ourselves.
Individual groups or whatever like that. Oh, you legitimately scared the crap out of that. That's the first time I've been gotten with that in a long time. Whoever did that, you were well-timed, probably Cookie. Because this is legit a place that always makes me nervous. And I was looking at chat for a second, and the noise played, and I thought I had just gotten got. It's very rare that I actually get caught by that, and that was like, I'm not afraid to admit when I do get legitimately caught. Well played. As well as 556, the big downers, we don't have a gun that uses 556. They're extremely rare. Like the weapons that use like 556 and that, the ammo is almost irrelevant because you'll never find enough guns to actually use it. And unfortunately, the gun's the only way to repair. You'll definitely never find the gun that uses it. I need to not be holding the button if I do that. But yeah, so it is. Why did I go to the moon? I don't understand. Why? I think I found a bug in the physics engine. What do you think, chat? I'm not sure what I hit, but I didn't just slam into the roof and get stuck here. Like we kind of glided up here. I have to find out. Sure. There we go. It's kind of wiggling to get the trailer to shift, and then turning the wheel straight so I have less resistance. Once I get over this hill, it's going to be so much easier, but we got to get over the hill first. Come on, come on, come on. Oh yeah, no, we already knew we need a new tractor. I just don't have the money for it. But my hope is that this is the money for it. Oh, I just realized something. How am I going to get onto that plate? If that little incline is too much for us? Because that plate is raised. I mean, I guess we're just going to try and go for it. Momentum, carry me. Actually, it doesn't look like it's going to be that big a deal. I'm hoping. And we're starting to sell the mushrooms. Yeah, not enough mana. Oh no, not this again. Okay. Acid is super dangerous. Ow. I should have learned my lesson. Yeah, this has happened before. We'll see if I can actually get the cheesy strat off again. Which is when he comes here, I'm going to kick this statue at him. It might be wedged, though. Got him. Screw you, Steve. Getting all mad at me, digging holes and stuff. No. I'll just... Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Just took me a bit longer than I expected. You know, just Tomb had a whole bunch of stuff like going on that we just need to play a little catch up. Thank you. What's that game? Oh, yeah, you were talking about Hard Space Shipbreaker? Yeah, it's a fun one. There's a bunch of good games. Alright, so I do apologize that we are back onto our old schedule, which does end up meaning a whole thing that... You know, what ends up happening is, like, Tomb gets home during my stream. They can't really move the stream later or earlier to, like, accommodate it. So it is just a little bit of a thing. Purple? Purple what? The hair? Because if you're saying the hair's been purple for, like, months and months and months and months and months now. Now, like, the hair's been purple since, July? August? Somewhere in that time frame? How did you not notice? So if it's, like, right after I've, like, re-dyed and all that kind of stuff, then, it is pretty dark and hard to see that it's purple. When it starts to get pretty fade is when it gets really noticeable on stream. So it is one of those kind of things. Alright, so I see the problem here. We need to up the priority here. And now make the other two work. But I got to up the priority so I actually run the wheel until we can get this fixed. So we are going to need to make our planks, or not our planks, we're going to need to make our forestry soon. Oh, to 60 unlock, we're at 51 research, and I need to make 7 planks, and we need 10 wood. So it should be fine between the wood up here and all that. They're relatively doing good. But I don't know. Like I said, it could be you just tuned in the days like where I had just re-dyed it, which I've been doing at the house. Because it makes it really dark for the stream that you just don't notice at all. But it's very genuinely something that when it starts to get like really faded to the point it actually looks kind of bad in person, it ends up starting to look pretty good on stream, like where he really stands out. Whereas when I freshly dye it, where it's like very, very vibrant in person, then we end up getting the whole thing where it doesn't, like it's barely noticeable on stream because it's just too dark. So it's I can have it look good in one place or the other, but not both at the same time. All right. So we've got the first drought is on its way. We are making our planks. I would really like to get more trees planted right away. Now, the first thing, we've already done the first step for getting our water sorted out, which is we dammed off this, so at least this will have some storage. That's not going to be adequate in the long term. Long term, what I'm going to need to do is make this into a bigger reservoir, like either levee this off, like cut across the middle here and make this into one giant reservoir. And then, you know, we would move all of our food production up or whatever. You get the idea. We would definitely want to go. I actually don't know if I were to like make this several tiles high. I think this is as high of a height as this can get. I don't remember how that works. If I wall this off, will it fill up over the water source point or not? I don't remember if there's a second. I think there is a second. Yeah, there's a second water source point up here somewhere. Yeah, so we got a second water source point up here once I get down off the cliff. The thing is, this ledge here at the early game, there's just not much space to move around on. Alright. And the other thing you do as you get through the game as well is you can like carve paths in the ground. So you can make this like whole area fertile, or you could go the opposite, like build up and make a path for the water to roll through here that you can make all of the area around it viable for growing. That becomes a little bit of a difficulty because of dealing with the evaporation and everything else going on. But that's all fine. Alright, so we have enough of those. We do have enough research. Let's grab our forestry. I think that's the spot. So we let that get built. Once that's built, we can unpause everything. We're no longer in dire straits on the wood, because that's what makes the wood renewable. The downside is I didn't make the berries in range of this, so that's going to be what's happening over here, and we'll make this into like farmland or something. Alright, so that'll be good once we get there. We're right about to hit our drought. We do have 62 water in storage, and we've got this whole thing as a buffer. Yeah, so the drought's hit. So you'll notice there's no more water the entire way down here until we get to our water source that's still drying up. But I do have this area as like a little bit of a reservoir. It's not much. It probably will run dry before the drought's done, but probably not so early that all our crops and everything die. They're still waiting on logs. Did some of these not get assigned to be cut? What's going on here? No, they're assigned to be cut. No workers available in this district. I see. They physically weren't doing it because I just didn't have the spare people. That's okay. You got your 7 plank, or you got those. But for right now, I'm going to deprioritize the lumber mill. Deprioritize, not tell it to not run. And let them work on getting this built. Alright, so here we go. So we're going to go start with our trees. We're just going to try and get any kind of wood as fast as we can, so that's going to be birch down here. We will need to move where our berries are located in the long term, so we're going to go ahead and make this berries. Go ahead and make this birch as well. And we also want to be able to have the high yield wood. So that up there is going to be oak. Which does mean in time I'm going to get rid of this area for the berries or something around that. Hey, Jaywalker, how's it going? But, because I also want to have our farm be larger, but we're not quite there yet. You can unpause these now. They're free to go. And we could also go here. Because they do need the extra warehouse to be built. Okay, so that could be for the finished product from the kitchens. We don't have our kitchen built. Oh, no, we do have our kitchen built. It's way down there. Or fermenter, or whatever the building is called. So you can be the unfermented ones. Eventually I'd want to make an area up top here, but we can worry about that later. In the meantime, I can just plop this down. It won't be an efficient route. It's just whatever. That we can go ahead and have you be the fermented ones. So we have storage of that. Let's also go here and increase our total water storage we have available. And we also need, under our recreation, the teeth grinder just needs to be shoved wherever I can fit it. Good enough for me. Actually, let's not do that. I can make a path down here to fix stuff. We can go over here and put the teeth grinder there. Because I can put the path around back there. And it can make more of the growth pods all there. Are you doing Farm Simulator? Yeah, no, I'll probably do Farm Simulator on later in the stream and whatnot. That is more than likely going to be on the plans. Okay, so wooden stairs. Awesome. Because the wooden stairs, then we can go here and say, I would like the little mills here. Alright, and that should give us to where we'll be able to get the water wheel, or the power wheel, whatever this thing is. Get rid of that. Take that back over for that. Let's wait. Let's not also, let's wait. Let's wait until we start having some more spare workers. Once I've got a couple of workers that we're not understaffed, we could go ahead and build another farmhouse. We'll begin to expand this out, all those things. Alright, so we are getting a bunch of these built. Get that built. We can also probably go here, even though it probably won't happen anytime soon. We can go up here to... That's probably not going to happen anyways. I'll leave it set. But eventually it'd be good if I could get mangroves down. But realistically, to do that, I'm going to have to change the road to go straight down here instead. Which might happen later anyways. But then we can put the mangroves down here. All right. Their food is in really good shape at the moment. Our water's in good shape. Wood, not so much. And we're going to have these handful of trees we're going to cut down and those ones. And then we're going to be depending on this. We put a bunch of fast-growing trees down here that give us basically garbage for wood, but it's something. And we put a bunch of slow-growing ones up here. And then this whole area is going to be berries, because more than likely I'm going to take this area back for farmland, and probably up here too. But we can keep building over in this area for all of our construction that does not have need for a lot of these things. What are you upset about? Oh, you have your chipped teeth or broken teeth or whatever it is. We can go ahead and build that thing. So our beavers are pretty unhappy right now because of the lack of shelter and everything else. We'll get there. It'll just take time. Yes, there should be enough for 21 workers. We're at about 17 beavers right now. Did you say I'd say? I don't think so. But welcome in Infinity Suplex. I hope you're having a good one. Yeah, so we're waiting on wood. That's going to be our reality for a while. Oh, and this game doesn't have the concept of food rotting. So you can hoard food by the thousands and let it stockpile up. It's fine. It's not like a year goes by and then suddenly 1,000 food just vaporizes from existence. Which, again, makes sense for a game going for realism, but we're a post-apocalyptic game and featuring sentient beavers, so, you know, realism checked itself at the door. No good selected. We want more water. And more water. So that's just increasing our storage. That way when droughts happen, we got a little bit more of a buffer. Is that thing here? However, how's been stream today? Stream's been good. We definitely have shown that we are rusty on this game, and we killed one colony or one city or whatever pretty early on. I tried a very interesting map where we're on like an island in the water, so it made it actually so retaining the water was very difficult. And we didn't retain the water, and then we died of starvation. It was great. It actually was fun to just be like, "Yep, I'm rusty." And we can go here for the oak trees. Cool. Yes, we're letting all that get sorted. We don't have any spare beavers to start new jobs. We don't have any spare wood yet, so we're just letting the beavers do their thing. They're gonna get the they get this built pretty soon. Cool. With that, don't worry about that wheel anymore. Actually, just go ahead and get rid of the wheel entirely. You can cut the path straight across here. Then get rid of those. Now we could set you, not the right place, you, just be more crop. And I've got 2 extra tiles here that we could put something with. In a pinch, I could make another fermenter here. We'd also put water storage over here. We have options. I forgot there's all things like recreation and fun for the beavers. That'll make them happy there. The rooftop terrace has to be put on a rooftop. I usually don't end up building those for a while. Alright, how are we doing in there? Okay, so we're getting to the point where we're going to start doing something. Dirt extractor. Interesting. We could build our platforms. The platforms might not be a bad move, because with the platforms, I can literally put the platforms over the water here and just make this more usable space. We can build on either side of that with the little water wheels going. That's actually what I'm going to do, is I'm going to make the platforms. So there's a lot of stuff we can make happen with that, where otherwise this isn't a particularly usable space and all that. Thank you, wife. I really appreciate it. Bear with me for 2 seconds, chat. I'm going to slow down time. I'm going to thank my wife properly. I'll be right back. So, again, I'll be back here in just a moment. Alright, sorry about that. Just want to make sure to properly say thank you to the wife and everything for finishing up dinner and whatnot. You did your hygiene routine? Nice. Thanks to him for beating Rual so he can stream. Yep. It is appreciated. Where did my eyeglass? Like, I have been, like, trying desperately to keep my eyeglasses staying clean and whatnot. It just does not feel like they ever want to stay there. I don't know why I'm treating that like rinsing my hands. Brain forgets what I'm doing. How are we doing in time, by the way? We're doing pretty good. Still got a while yet before it's time to switch games and all that. That's good. We got quite a bit longer on here. I do enjoy this game. This is not the first time I played it by any stretch of the imagination. That said, it's been a while since I played it. Looks like we're up to about 19 beavers. If the math I heard was correct, the growing pods here should handle 21 beavers. We will definitely want to up that. I'm just trying to not up that too early. And the reason why that's a concern is I definitely don't want to get in the position where I can't finish the things to go thing. You need to clean your glasses because you haven't worn them in a while. Well, that's not what it is. Some people need glasses more than others. Let's not flip my dinner onto the floor. That would be very upsetting. Alright. To get those spots. Keep the birch going there. Keep the oak going there. We got more oak we could fit over here. Well, an engineering game? I mean, we literally play Space Engineers on the channel and all that in the past as well. Hey, the beavers are slightly happier. They're very upset about their shelter situation. We do have it queued up. We're waiting on wood. Where we are. The early game wood gets tough on maps like this, where there's just not a whole lot of trees that we can get a hold of. We've got everything set. Once we get the first of the birch trees coming in, we'll be in great shape. And then we can start, doing away with a bunch of the birch trees and start putting other trees in there instead. To have stuff that produces way more. So this is all birch down here. That's oak up there. So the birch grows the fastest. Real crap so far as the amount of wood you get. Can't tell if you're cutting the trees down now or what. Okay. So we're already starting to get switched over. Yeah, so as they're growing now, we are switching them over. Because I just wanted to get the initial round of birch trees to get us off the ground. Because then we want to switch to something that does give us more wood for our effort. So more efficient. Because now that takes them just forever to deal with this, that it isn't particularly great for us to go from there from the amount of effort we put into it. All right, cool. So they are getting one tree after the other. Does the type matter? Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things that, like, the birch tree grow the fastest, but give the least amount of wood per cycle. The oak trees grow the slowest, but give the most wood per cycle. So each one of these birch trees takes 9 days to grow to give 1 wood, versus the oak trees take 30 days to grow, but get 8 wood. So the wood per day on oak is much better, but you have to be able to, like, keep things going until you're ready. So it ends up being a whole thing. So we're trying to get all switched over. We're also trying to get more of the berries down here. We got our first of our homes built. We're going to get the second one here in a little bit. Hey, they're slightly happier because some of them actually got to sleep inside. Moving up in the world. And I'm avoiding the temptation to start building the second storage, to have the lumber mill drop it off up there, and yada, yada, yada. We'll get there eventually. Okay. So I'm trying to swap them out as they get cut down. Because also those things is because they grow faster, that's more times I need the beavers who cut them down and the beavers who grow them to actually interact with those trees. Which does end up meaning more time lost to maintaining the trees, so it's more laborious. Let's see, what are your engineering class that was meant to expose you to other engineering majors? Oh, we had to pick a type of wood to make a beam out of. The most cost-effective reasoning. Word choice? Yeah. And they're even happier. Beavers just living their best lives now. Okay. You choose pine. Pine is usually one of the ones that a lot of people will go for because for cost effectiveness, it's certainly not a bad choice. You know, for no other reason than it's relatively inexpensive. Alright, so what we can go ahead and do down here. We take those. We'll end up replacing them, but right now we'll just leave those ones there, put our gathering places here and here. We'll get rid of these. We'll be able to put down a new farmhouse and expand our farms and all that. All right. Let's go ahead and I don't know what we're going to use this area down here. Let's make this water storage for the time being. All right, so we also are starting to get close to our population cap of what we can handle. So I'll do this. This also means, though, I'm going to need another house. We'll just keep expanding, you know, a lot of our living situation. Okay. Does anyone remember if I were to say, for example, wall off here, would from this water source, would it fill to the next tile higher by itself, or is this the height that it maxes out at? I just don't remember, because if it does go up a tile, then it's worth me, you know, like bisecting my land to make this into one giant reservoir eventually, and then we can make all of this into the growing area. And then this becomes at least one giant reservoir up here that we can... Yeah, it's not a YOLO. It takes a long time to set up. It's very not YOLO. It's YOLO in the, what if we just wait like a good while to get this all sorted out? All right. Probably should have left one of those over there. It's fine. Probably should have really left one of those over there. Yeah, so I can't reach this far edge. I mean, it could if I cut this path across, which might not be the worst. Yeah, because what I'd probably do is I'd put a levee across this area, like straight across here. This becomes our underwater plants in this top shelf here, or mangroves or whatever. This whole area becomes more growable space. It can have like little shoot-offs, like little canal that goes out and around. All right, so we've got our next drought is on its way. That's for that. We've got that for the logs. It's not the right one. You will be for planks. Okay. So that gives us the planks and the wood, which again, that's way down there. So it's going to be very inefficient pathing. We've got the fermented and the regular stuff there. We've got storage for wood. Is there anything I'm seeing here that I don't have storage for? No, I think we're good. Because we got the unfermented crops, the berries, and the fermented crops. Now the berries we're full on at the moment, which is a problem, but not one I'm that immediately worried about. You got an achievement? Nice. We can make gears. We have the oil press, which requires gears. We have the pump, or the water dump, which we're not going to worry about that. The stream gauge, which is depth of water. Deep mechanical pump. Discharge, let's see, pumps water up on one side and discharges it on the other. More efficient than a regular pump. That's not going to happen anytime soon. We have better housing. We have a bunch of stuff for recreation, decoration, monuments, which I don't... Oh, the monuments give, like, bonuses. We've got our early stuff. Let's get the levy. We already know we're going to need a levy in time. I can't afford it. Levy is definitely one we're going to have. I'm stumped if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it. Does one clap. Oh, is it you started to cut down a tree and then, like, hit tab to, like, teleport to another thing? I don't think I have that one. There's a bunch, like... I dislike one thing that's with Farm Sim when it comes to that, is that there's so many of those achievements related to, like, their achievements, they just have, like, funny sayings and all that, but they don't give you any information on how you actually earn them. You have to, like, extrapolate based on what the message is, or more realistically, you just look up what they are. Because every once in a while I get a treatment, it's like, all that. No, it's because it didn't make a noise, you guess? I have no idea. Games had like 1 or 2 hidden achievements, now it's like half. Yeah, well, I find games either they like make them all known, or like they'll make almost all of them unknown, or it'll be, you know, a good chunk. I understand why they do that. Like, there's a lot of spoilers you can get into it, but there'll be a game that like every single boss will be a hidden achievement. That way you don't spoil the bosses and all that. I don't mind that. My comment is more with the Farm Sim ones. They don't make them hidden, is they make them cryptic. So you don't really understand. It's like, I want to get this achievement. What do I need to do? Do I need a lot of vehicles? I just don't know what you want. Okay. So if I were to try and make this too tall, so you could bisect around here and go over that way. So we could start, once we get enough research, by putting the levees over here on this section. And then start making the levees just cutting across here. Like, it'd take a while for us to bring this up. And that'd just be a thing. But also, like I said, we could make effectively a canal that runs through the middle of our area. And then make all of this growable around it. I also think it'd be fun to like get a mangrove field going here. All these would have to move as well. The good news, it seems like certain buildings do give you back your materials. So I could do a thing where we cut across here. I mean, what we can actually do is just literally take these where they are, raise them up one. So I start building platforms, I raise them up one, put these on top of the platforms with the ramp going up to them, kind of thing. The big challenge is these where they're at wouldn't work in that one. We'd have to adjust where everything is. Those are cats on the macro scale product you end up getting into in this. Alright, get the second farm built. We're gonna have 1 harvest and 1 plant as their priority. And that'll help a bunch. Put more beavers on that. Yeah, no, I like hidden achievements when they're trying to hide spoilers and all that. You know, I also like that you are able to go, but I do really want to see what it is. So that's a plus. That would take 2 seconds to mute my mic, so I can eat a little bit of my dinner here without you having to listen to me, like, you know, plate scratch with the silverware. So I'll be right back. I'm sure a lot of you probably noticed we did go into our next drought. And now we're in the drought. All of our water wheels have stopped since the water's no longer flowing. So that just means some of these production buildings shut down in the meantime. That is going to be a continuing problem that we run into. Now, this is in range. I'm surprised they're really not getting the things planted down there. All right. Yeah, so just got to ride out the drought and see where we get with that. And we're still just waiting on the wood. Like I said, the good news is once these oak trees start popping up, the amount of wood we're going to get and how fast we're going to get it, it's going to be pretty ridiculous. Which would be a good problem to have. Like, very realistically, I probably will cannibalize more of this to make more area for the berries. We can worry about that once we get there, though. Alright, so I don't remember what we said. So, the levees we need. Yeah, like I said, I think the plan's going to be for the levees to go here. That should be straight across. Then go here and, cancel that. Yeah, so I have levees over here we'll eventually build. You talk while I eat dinner? Yeah, and I started having a little bit of my own dinner here a second ago. But I do think we are going to bisect our land to make this will be a mangrove area down the road. This will probably grow whatever stuff there. All the other buildings I have down here were for production. We're going to lift. It's going to take some time to process and all that. There'll definitely be a middle part where it's in a rough spot. Now, I could move both of my water pumps up here in the interim. It should be in range to reach the water down there. And then we could, just shift the water around that way, as opposed to over here. that's actually worth exploring. Let's actually just go ahead and set it up. So we need these tiles and that. Probably that one there as well. Who's playing Timberborn? Oh yeah, no, I had mentioned it was on, like, it was one of the higher voted things for me to play on Discord. And we were playing Traveler's Rest. Oh, here, let's cancel the birch at this point. And change those to oak. But it was like one of the higher voted ones, and it was just one of those things like, oh, it's funny that that came up because like literally that was on the agenda. But we were playing Traveler's Rest, but the issue we ran into was even after restarting the game and everything else, and like I even tried firing and rehiring the staff members, they weren't showing up. And you really do need the staff members in that game, like to reasonably play it. So it was kind of, I was like, all right, I guess we're soft locked. So instead of playing that today, we went ahead and just played this instead. Which is unfortunate, but, you know, it happens. Okay, so for right now... start building the platforms there so I can move these two up here. That way I'm drawing from the water right from by where the source is. These will effectively go away at that point, because I am going to start working and trying to move all of this stuff, you know, up to here. Get ourselves, like I said, they're going to put a big mangrove area up here. But all that is going to have to wait till we start cutting the levees across this way. So that's actually another thing. Let's clear doing stuff there. And here, because that's where the levees are going to go through in the long run. Hey, Pank, how's it going? And how was the rest of your stream? We're doing post-apocalyptic Sentient Beavers time. Full of crimes? Excellent. I still haven't played the crime simulator, or thief simulator, sorry, not crime simulator. Thief simulator. I did get access to Thief Simulator, but it's just one of those ones I never, like, I had planned to play it at some point, and then just never actualized it. No particular reason, just... You have it on the Switch? You give it a 6 or 7 out of 10 so far? Well, that's not terrible. Versus this game is absolutely fantastic, and I'd highly recommend. Because who doesn't want to live in a world with, you know, sentient beavers? Like, are you even living if there's no sentient beavers in your life? Have you unlocked the Metal Beavers? Yeah, we are playing as the Metal Beavers right now. So we are also to the point... We're gonna wait till we build more houses to do that. Like, we're starving on wood until these oak trees grow. That's basically... Our current situation is, we want the wood, but also... We don't have the... Like, the oak trees take a while to get going. But we should have a bunch of these that are getting close. You like cozy cute games and Sims, so when you all get into the zombies and war games, you disappear. It happens. Yeah, so I think the order of operations is get those moved over here, our 2 water pumps up here. The cross streams chat, yeah. We get those up here. As they go and clean this up, we will build the levee across this way. And then we will do the whole thing where we build the stairs up and over to keep all that connected. Our gatherer post will obviously need to move at that point. We are going to have to do some finagling with this. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to making this into a mangrove area. And having that be a good chunk of our wood. Oh, I want that spot unzoned. Because I want to switch those from birch to oak for the higher yield. No, did you look at the cross streams? Yeah, I did. It's in a really good start. The things I ran into is the stream streaks don't show up. If someone supports me on TikTok, it doesn't show up. So it's got like a bunch of those events. It works great otherwise. There's like a couple second delay. I used it for like 2-3 days, but then I started, seeing a bunch of things that it's got some pain points, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm so glad I did the tests with it and all that. But it is one of those things that's unfortunately not quite there yet. Which that could be like Twitch's API hasn't caught up or whatever. All right. So we could start on those levees. Yeah, so the immediate plan is we're going to be cutting a levee straight across here. It'll become a dam on these couple tiles there, and it'll be a levee on that side. So we'll make all of this bottom half here will be a giant reservoir. We are moving our deep water pumps over here. The gathering things I can just move just about anywhere. We just plop those up here, actually. The big pain is going to be these, moving them. Like the water storage, not a big deal. We just move water storage. Does the eco seems like a game you'd like to, roleplay or not? I haven't looked into it on a meaningful level yet. I've heard lots of good things, and I know they did just either release or majorly update or whatever. It's just, I know I've had a couple friends on the platform who have played it, but it's just one of those things that I haven't actually gotten to the point of actually sitting down and giving it a proper go through or anything like that. Alright. I'm going to try to avoid building much up here, because when I move that, this whole area is going to become growable space, and I'm going to lose out on this area for a lot of stuff. There's underwater plants that grow, but we're not ready for them. Actually, don't build that one yet. Because what we're going to do is we'll make the path go across here. Correction. We'll make the path go across here. And I'll make the ramp up, the levee, and the ramp down. And then we can go and put that back. Alright. Let's see, you play it like every other year around this time. It can be fun, addictive, frustrating, you know, the usual. That checks out. Alright. Yeah, so getting our wood is the major pain point. I'm looking forward to, like, these are probably what? 75%. Yeah, so pretty soon, we're going to be just up to our eyeballs in wood. It's just getting over that hill of the amount of wood to get there. But that's why I've been investing so heavily in doing the oak. You know, I could also see making all this into berries, like down here. This remains the oak up top. What do I have? Oh, that's where the other things are going, which are also waiting on logs. Yeah, I think what we do is we go here, we unset all of these from being done. We'll chop down all those trees as able, we make that into berries, and that'll be a good use as well. For that matter, unset all that being replanted as well, because that's going to be where the reservoir is. So you do the levee across here, we'll switch this over to mangrove for our source of wood. It'll be fine. Or it won't. Either way, it'll be a thing. Whatever it is. But until our oak trees go, or grow, we're just kind of dealing. I do wonder how much current we're going to get. My hope is I could potentially move the wheels over here-ish. Or if the levee comes through here, like, right by where the dams are, and that we will get enough water movement in the area. There's other ways I can, like, make it work, like, put an occasional, like, slice of levee so that they have to, like, go through there, but that does eat into the volume. But worst case, I could see potentially putting the wheels over here, and then building the production, industrial production, over on this end. That way we have our giant reservoir, it dumps onto this, and there's just a very fast current going through here to power everything. But first I want to get the water reservoir set up where it's actually in a good place. We could also move... Well, we don't want to move those yet, because we're borrowing berries from both areas. We're at 28 population, so we got 6 people who do not have jobs to do yet. 2 of them are going to be tied up there. We're going to move these over there, and they'll work there for a little while. So I don't really want to... Berries don't get removed with harvests? No, I'm aware. But when I flood it, they're going to go away. Like, this all has to go away, and we'll have to, like, move that up here, and that's what we're going to eat into this berries. We're going to move the cassava up here. I'll get rid of this road, and we'll just make a big cassava area on this side. And then we'll have the levees, and then we'll have the underwater plants on the other side. But so you need to demolish the line where the levees will go. Yeah, and that's fine. We're not quite there yet. We're not ready for it yet. Like, I need to get the road going past here, put our levee there. Once I start being able to build the levee out that way, then we can start worrying about going the other way too. Pretty soon they will eat those. We're at like 90-ish% on these. That'll be great. Yeah, so we're just trying to relocate the water to give ourselves a proper reservoir, because this little trickle of water, the moment our population starts going up, we won't be able to manage it. Oh, I missed a spot. There we go. Wood is always high demand in this game. Yep, that's a reason why I just try to bootstrap up until the point I can get to oak. Because oak is the most wood per labor and per time. So you just want to get the oak as fast as you can so you can upscale your wood production. And the first oak tree is cut. And now we get to watch the wood start rolling in. Alright, we've got this set, so now I can go here. Then we can go to this spot and say, I want to undo these paths. Where are you at? And go here and say, step up, step down, and levee. We'll leave messy paths for just a second. Alright, for this matter, we're probably good to just slice across here now. I want to be careful about levying that off. We don't want to do that till we're ready, because if I levy this off now, we flood everything. So we could levy this area. We wait until everything else is built, then we levy the next spot, and you know, all that. Alright. Oh, I actually do want you to... It's fine, we'll have to wait till they're cut down. Floodgates are useful too. To be fair, I'm sitting on a ton of research. We can go for the double floodgate. Boom. I mean, that doesn't need to be a floodgate. Let's see, how do you sell your greenhouse products? You could take your pallets up to the same sell point you sell wood and everything else, and you just drive those over it, and they just vanish into it, and you get your money. You could also go into the greenhouse where you like turn on the different products. You can click on one of the products, and there's like a change output or whatever. If you want to sell directly from the greenhouse. If you sell directly from the greenhouse, though, it'll sell it as it pops out, so you won't get the you can't like wait until it's a good season for sell or a good month for selling or anything like that. You get it right then and there. And then you also take they'll like minorly dip into the amount of money you get there. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll hack these down. I was gonna not do that. We'll hack those down. We'll wait on the trees because I want the wood from the trees. How do you get the pallets for it then? The greenhouse will just spit out pallets. You don't actually buy pallets themselves. They just show up. You may not have turned on the greenhouse. You have to actually go to the greenhouse itself. There's like a little icon on it. I think it looks like a wrench. You can say like, I would like you to start producing this or whatever. One of the many things the game does not bother to show you anywhere. Is producing not putting them out? Oh, you have to wait till it gets over 1,000 liters. One pallet is 1,000 liters, so until it reaches that point, you won't be able to grab anything out of it. Oh, I think you need tile there to be able to reach that. Now, did you get your reach for the floodgates? What do you need? Just wooden planks? All right. All right. So yeah, so our wood is coming in nice and steady now. So we're good there for the time being. We'll definitely want to expand our tree farm, but this is just, it's good enough for the moment. We are doing a lot of construction. We are going to completely change what is and isn't growable space. If I make all this mangroves as well, we'll have more enough. All right, so we're good to move our water pumps. That's where the water pumps go now. Oh, if you started the start from scratch run, it starts you with $2,000 loan. You can get rid of the loan in Farm Sim, either like one, just give yourself money and then pay it off, or you could also go through and just change your setting. Oh, you just picked up Project Zomboid and 7 Days to Die. Nice. I'm not as big into 7 Days to Die, but Project Zomboid I'm big into. I'm still pretty salty about some of the decisions they made down the road in 7 Days. They DMCA struck a creator because they were using a Twitch integration mod that technically played one of their copyright sounds while they were playing the game, and I'm pretty unhappy about that. Because it was one thing to be like, hey, please don't use this, it's an unofficial mod, or to go after the mod creator and say, hey, you're using copyright sounds. But it was that they actually went after the content creator themselves and DMCA struck their channel, which got them a temporary suspension for using a Twitch integration mod. And it was around the same time that 7 Days to Die brought Twitch integration into itself. So it felt very much like they were trying to suppress the mod in favor of their own thing. Well, no. It wasn't the mods. That's the thing. It was the developers behind the game who reported the DMCA strike. And again, they went after the creator, not after the mod. And even then, they were using a sound in the game that it came from. I don't have exactly all the details. It's been a while, but it was one of those things that was like, it was real sketch. But it was one of those things, they added a feature to their game that already existed in mods of the community, and then kind of started going after people using the mod. Now, I only heard of them, like, striking the 1 or 2 people. So I don't know if they did it once or twice and then went, oh wait, never mind, we shouldn't do this. It's really pissing off our fan base. Or if they just kept going for it. Yeah, well, even about going after the mod, because they didn't care until they had their own Twitch integration, which is why it looks nefarious. Because it's almost like they looked at them as the mod as a competitor at that point. Which maybe they did, maybe they don't. We don't know. But it was definitely one of those things that was just, it rankled enough that you're like, Like, you should be like, hey, there are mods out here doing X, Y, Z. We are going to enforce it. Even then, who cares? Like, who cares? Like, literally the person's using a mod, like, that mod is selling your game. Why? Hey, Unick, how's it going? It's going good here, by the way. But as well as things that, like, I beforehand, it's like, it's not really my game, but I wouldn't have a particular big problem with playing the game on the channel. But after that, I'm like, yeah, I won't play their game. Like, I just won't. And for those who don't know, Pancro, absolutely fantastic content creator on the platform. I totally forgot to shout you out, and that's my bad. But definitely fun times over there. Was playing, I was literally watching the stream. We literally discussed what you were playing earlier. Why is my brain the way it is? You had a Gooma show up. Thief Simulator, that's the one. Yeah, Thief Simulator. So I was playing that earlier, but does play a variety game. Plays a lot of like turn-based tactical games, among other things. So it's definitely worth checking out. Its brains are dumb. You rarely use mods except for Emerald and Art? Yeah. Good thing about it. Yeah, that's kind of... You need caffeine? I have caffeine. Just brains are dumb sometimes.
Take a sip. What's the worst that could happen?
Yannick on their 50 stream streak. 50 streams in a row without missing one. Thank you so much for the continued support. It does mean a whole heck of a lot that you would catch pretty much every stream. You can climb trees? Yeah, so... Yes, in Farm Sim you can. You're not supposed to be able to, but it's like Skyrim climbing. We just walk up to a wall, and if you jump enough, eventually you get there. Oh, that was weird. We had for... Oh, it's because I put the one tile here. It backed up the water for just a second. That checks out. Then we're going to set the floodgates to half when they're fully built to avoid flooding. Yeah, so we can go ahead and drop that. And they are synchronized, so that should be good. Yeah, notice the walls building just back things up. It'll probably reset randomly. It did in most channels. Yep. Your drink made me think of it. It happens. So you like Diet Dr. Pepper Cherry, but you love Diet Dr. Pepper Strawberry, which you can only get at the freestyle mix machines. Or at home with strawberry grenadine. I haven't had it. I'll have to try that. All right, so we are slowly moving our water, because like I said, what we're working on right now is I'm making this area a reservoir, by locking all of this off with levees and some floodgates. So we'll have this river over here. The biggest pain point of this whole thing is be moving this stuff. The rest of it should go smoothly. We are already working on moving our berries over here, And then, you know, once I move the water line, then this will probably become viable for berries as well. The farm will then take over this area. They have Dr. Pepper strawberry and cream, which is good. Gotcha. Alright, so we've almost got enough shelter. We are up to 33 beavers, and I've got 8 who have nothing to do, so we're not going to up our population yet. Are we naming the beavers? I haven't been. The only reason is the beavers do die relatively quickly. And so it becomes a maintenance thing of, like, continuously replacing the beavers. I also don't think it'll do a thing like... I wish it was something you could do like RimWorld, where you could, like, add in a thing that says, here's the names I want you to pick from, and then have it so, like, anyone who's been around the channel long enough, you can put, like, if they want, you can put them on the name. You're an injured beaver? Don't do that. I didn't get the thing for dealing with injured beavers. I completely forgot that was a mechanic. Where the heck was that even? Science? No. Well-being. Medical bed. Yep. Use became top priority. Because I believe injured beavers will ultimately die. Here for a good time, not for a long time. Well, it's more for me. It's the maintenance of, like, keep naming them is more the issue. Is that it kind of becomes laborious after a while. Can you not reach that? You should be able to reach that. Yeah, you should be able to reach it from this side or from down here. Probably just hasn't happened yet. Oh, I didn't add more path. That's the reason they're not finishing that. Okay, so those two are set up now. It'd be good to have a water drop-off point nearby. That's the storage. This requires gears, doesn't it? It does. I don't want to deal with that yet. Okay, so I have more pumps. The issue is them dropping off the water's too far away. So in the interim, as a stopgap, I'm going to put a bunch of barrels there. That's not going to work in the long term. We're also going to tell them that I want them to start emptying these. So that, again, they start moving their water up to the other barrels. We'll get rid of these barrels. They'll be just gone. Because as you can see, the levee is getting done. I also see running a path through here to go up and over the levee for the mangroves. We'll put mangroves over here, and I assume we'll have some type of aquatic crop we can put down here. That makes sense. You curious if this works? Oh, the way this... Yeah. The only problem is, like, these gotta move. That's the headache. We could actually probably start that as well. I think the way we're going to approach moving those is I'm going to... the overflooding the source, I believe it works. If I remember correctly, I believe it works. I think I've done it before. Because most of the time it's on the edge of the map, so it just backspills off the side of the map. But I believe I've done that on this one before. Alright, so I think we're going to do is I'm going to tell it I want a compact wheel here and here. We'll just put in all three. This is not going to be ideal at all. I am going to put a levee there to force the water through here. And that's just in preparation for having to move that. Okay, these will be the last tiles of the levee for this side. And then when these trees get cut down... No, I take that back. There's one more. When these trees get cut... Are those marked to be cut down? They may not be. No, they are. When these trees get cut down here... No good selected. Water, please. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. What would cause pollution? Let's see, do we have any pollution on this map? You haven't seen Timberborn after they introduced a pollution mechanic? I wasn't aware they added a pollution mechanic. So, I am unaware of this. If there is pollution, that'll be an interesting thing to have to cope with. I'm assuming there'd be something that, as the Iron Teeth, we would cause pollution. Alright, so we're going to tell them to get rid of that tree. And we're going to plan to need another deep pump going on here. Then go here. And meanwhile, we can shut down one of these. Because we've got the two up here. I'm going to keep the one spare because we haven't had this many beavers for very long, so I don't really know our capacity, like what we need. Alright, so we've got our first water wheel, so I need both the thing for the planks and the place to cook. So I can go over here and say, there's that. And there's this. And get all that squared away. We've already got a levee being put here, which should force the water straight through there, so that should turn the wheels. And then, like I said, then we'll start tearing this all apart. It's actually going smoother than I thought it was. I thought moving these would be a huge hassle, but it looks like this is just going to go smoothly. Like, look at that thing turn. Some kind of poisoned water mechanic? Interesting. Can't reach it. I mean, that's fine. The absolute worst case scenario is once I put out the levees here, we could slam the gates up, and the moment I slam the gates up... Oh, you can't... Wait, you should be able to reach that. Oh, I see. I understand. They can't reach it because this road, they can't go... Like, that doesn't matter. They have to cut up the plants. So we are going to have to do this where we go, alright, hear me out. Carve a path. It might always still be on the experimental branch. Oh, I didn't even think to look at the experimental branch. It says you can reach that. I mean, I'm not super worried. Once I flood this, all these plants are going to die anyways. So, I don't really care. Where am I going to move these? I could move them up here, but... That's only accounting for those going away. Like I said, ultimately I could see doing a thing where I make like a little trough of water that goes out this way and then wraps around and comes back. Because then I can put a whole bunch of the water wheels around it. You know, to make all sorts of power, and then you can grow stuff all down below it and all that. I'm not super worried. Alright, so should be able to reach those. Put the last two levees in here. And I believe with that, it's time to... You know, put the gates up and flood the area. Which unfortunately is going to be just in time for the for the drought. Needless to say, obviously during the drought, we're not going to get anything out of that. Okay, meanwhile, we are almost done with those. I'm actually glad I was going to build the warehouses down here and take the time to set that all up. Still missing levees next to Floodgate. Yeah, it's unhappy about this. There, that'll fix it. I actually think it'll be fine even if we left that open. It does weird. Alright, meanwhile we could go here and say you. Berries. Alright. No recipe selected. You make fermented vessels. Alright, so those are all good, so we can take apart you now. And guess one thing that'll help is we can give a path around. It's not efficient use of resources, but it's fine. Alright, so what am I gonna have them work on next so far as that? We could definitely increase the size of our warehouses. I'm gonna just do it. So that way in the future I just make the big warehouses for supply, you know, storing stuff. Food is nothing. Why are we suddenly completely and utterly out of food? I did not see. Oh man. All right, hear me out. We're just gonna go ahead real fast and build a second one of you real fast right here. This time being your top priority. Yeah, no, it's we had these and it's slowed up because it used to reach all the way up at this far right edge. And now it doesn't. But I missed that it dropped down, so we're dealing with that. Meanwhile, we'll go ahead and put the other... Yeah, put those two over there as well. Give that a normal priority. Yeah, going into a drought with no food is not the best move. So I can flood this now. It's capable. I'm going to wait. Because, I mean, one, it's during a drought, so I won't get it full anyways. And actually, we could go here and eliminate this road. But what's going to end up happening is we're going to make this into more and more farmland. For when we switch it. Hey, Mallies, how's it going? The good news is we're hopefully going to get more berries up soon. Alright, so that's fine there. We can go ahead and get rid of you and you. There's no berries in range for you. I just need you to go get those berries as fast as you can, friend. We probably will have some die of starvation. The good news is we're in much better shape than the last time. Oh, you know I never did? You harvest and, like, plant and harvest, each of you have a priority. There's so many hungry ones. We're gonna make another. We're gonna make more. We're gonna overdo our gatherers right now to try and play catch up. So hopefully we don't have a whole bunch of them die of starvation, because we're getting to that point that's gonna be a real likely concern to pop up here in a second. Oh, the added penalties, I can't do the cassavas because the water's not flowing, so the fermenter doesn't work. Excellent. That sucks. So it is on the gatherers to just gather as aggressively as we possibly can have them gather. So far, no one's died of starvation, but it's coming. And our water is getting hit pretty hard. No shocker there. Which map is this again? Oh, I don't remember the name of it. Sorry. It's gonna be real rough to recover this food. There's definitely gonna be some people dying here. Oh, there goes our water, just went dry. Luckily, the berries are still in there. That's the reason I've been working on the reservoirs. I figured this kind of problem was going to be approaching soon. So it's very much, I need to get ahead of it. I believe this needs to be, I think at 2 height, it'll flood this area, but it won't go over the wall. Still no one's died of starvation. I don't know how, but no one has died of starvation yet. That's the thing. I thought with 2, yeah. So with 2, there's still a gap on the top. That shouldn't flood it. We can science it. If it floods it, who cares? We just lower it again. All right. Alright, we're starting to have our deaths from hunger. The food? It doesn't matter. There's none left. There's no food left. Well, gonna have a whole lot of people die off pretty soon. And we just ran out of water too, so we're gonna be okay in the water because we're gonna pick up now, but there's gonna be a whole lot of dying beavers here in a minute. This is gonna go away. Put the path through the middle here. Okay, so the water's back in business. We're just gonna have to deal with a lot of people dying. All right, we have now flooded the area. So we can go here right away and expand a bunch of our prospects. So you, congratulations. All of that just became farmable. And then you, congratulations. All that just became farmable. What? Let's give it a moment to see if it sorts itself out. Oh, wait. Why is it... It's fine. We'll just drop it down. I wasn't expecting it to, like, back up over here, but that's fine. We're good. It'll stop being flood in a moment. Can I set to 1 day per month? Yeah, that's usually what I run. There we go. I was like, it shouldn't stay that long. Yeah, so we're gonna have a bunch of beavers die. A whole lot of beavers are gonna die. You shouldn't be flooding now. There you go. Water physics getting a little wonky. Pop up here. Plant a handful more berries. It keeps popping back and forth between flooding and not flooding, flooding and not flooding, which is a problem. It should settle itself after a little bit. Now these should all die after a little while because they're flooded. So all this stuff down here should die. What other crops? There was a crop we can get that can go underwater. Oh, do they not have one? Huh. Oh, I think it may... No, because where was it? It was like aquaculture? It's hydroponic. It's in the trees, right? Well, no, but there was it might be for the folktale that they actually had a crop you could put underneath the water that should grow the crop, not just the mangroves doing mangrove things. We have a lot of beavers die. Oh, you need to be max priority, the both of you. They removed that? It's gone? I understand. That's what it's like. It's like, it's not here. That's fine. So what that does mean is we're going to go ahead and do the mangroves, but for that, we're going to wait till this all dies from the flooding. They'll be able to build this. We can build the mangroves down here. That should be fine. Yeah, so they're all getting thirsty and hungry. We're trying our best to keep things running. Yeah, food gets a priority. So food and water are the priority right now. Everything else is secondary. Hey, Elevation, how's it going? They have to manually cut all of it? No, this will die. It'll disappear. I mean, at least it used to. That even if it dies there, it'll just collapse and disappear. Once you submerge in water. I could set it to cut it. We have spare people right now. I mean, that one already is. Alright. A building lacks workers. Set you to high priority. That's because we have starvation. Starvation is abound. You'll be neutral. You'll be neutral. What game is this? This is Timberborn. It is a post-apocalyptic city builder based around sentient beavers. Instead of like a lot of city builders where usually like the big thing you worry about is, you know, making sure you get all your resources together for winter rolling in, you know, and then firewood and all this. This one, it's very heavily around water management. So you can see, like, this area used to be the edge of my territory, but I built a bunch of levees and some dams to retain water here, so I have more water held. At the moment, we're in a bad spot because when I did the switch over, it didn't go smoothly. I wasn't keeping track of my food, so food's kind of in a bad spot. That is slowly getting fixed, but we are losing a lot of people. It is fun. I like it. It's solid. So that one's redundant now, because those aren't growing fast and 2 gatherers can keep up with it. Yeah, and that one's working on it. You used to play the old school city builders on PC? Yep. It's really well done, say manager. Oh yeah, I agree. It's been one of the better ones. Better than Rimworld? Well, Rimworld's a totally different animal. Like going for Rimworld and considering it a city manager, I would say is misaligned. This would be more of a competition against games like Banished, which both are excellent games, but they do entirely different in different setups and all that. Alright, I would really like you to get your food sorted if you don't mind. Because we also need to get more stuff at the breeding pod thing so we can keep getting more beavers. Because as they're dying of various things, if we're not getting them replaced, things are going to go south real fast. Building lacks workers 4. The lumber flag I can live with. The lumber mill I can live with. We have one of the... Yeah, so each of them has a gathering spot that's good, which is enough to keep up. We'll get rid of those. Like, how many days per month did you set your farm on Farm Sim? 1 day per month. Like, it's not until you start getting a really big farm in Farm Sim you have to start worrying about, you know, not being able to handle that. Like when you have too many things you need to do and not enough time to do them. Our population is collapsing, which should mean we start catching up on our food. You play Caesar 1, 2, and 3? Yeah, those are classics. Should you sleep or cut down to a certain profit? Oh, that's entirely your choice. If you want to work in the dark, you can in Farm Sim. If you want to work through the night, you can do that as well. There's no like you don't have to sleep or anything like that. It's a matter of thing. Is anyone working the pumps? Yep. The pumps are high priority. So we do have people bringing in wire and all that. You imagine this is solo play? Yes, this is a single player game. I've not seen many city building style games that were any good as the way I will phrase them for multiplayer. There's been a few, but it's been mostly solo games. So it does look like our food is stabilized and our water is still playing catch up. Hey! Our beavers are happier than they've ever been, despite the fact there's only about a third of how many there used to be. Excellent. That's definitely... Oh, you sleep, it goes the next month, and you don't know what to do? Oh, I mean, you can change your time. Like, literally, you can change the settings whatever you want. It's basically, did you get everything done you want? That 1/3 is happy to be alive. Yeah, but it's the fact that they've been happier than they've ever been before. It's like, man. Hey, look, they're even happier. Heck yeah. Look at you. You're having the time of your life. I mean, there were others who were having the times of their lives, but, you know, look, things got dark back there. Okay, so water stabilized, food is stabilized. We are no longer dying rapidly. So we're gonna let our population recover before we build anything else, because we have a huge number of jobs that are no longer being worked because everybody died. So it's gonna take a little while for our population to recover. We do have all of our breeding pods now have the supplies they need to succeed and all that. But I still have 7 jobs that don't have people to work them. You killed them? Yeah, I did mess some stuff up, and they did die. It is a thing that did occur. Alright, so still cleaning up all that. Our berries are starting to get ahead, so we are going to start doing the thing where I start going over here and making that. So to mangoes now? Well, I probably need to wait till they get these 2 out of the way first. Because I need to get the other water pump going. I don't think we have enough water pumps for what we're doing. You can reach this up here, so we can go ahead and probably make this berries up here just a little bit. Because these berries are going away. Speaking of which, we'll get rid of... No, we won't. You got a bunch of berries there. Don't get rid of them. Might as well grab them while they're there. Yeah, that's... The temptation is always difficult in these kind of games. Like, just queue up the next thing, queue up the next thing, queue up the next thing, and then nothing gets done because you're like... You have 10 first priorities. And then they go, well, look. That means there's no priorities. All right. But yeah, so we should have our population start recovering. It just takes a little while. That's a danger with this one, with the folktale. You don't need any resources other than them not actively dying of starvation for the population to recover. It will just on its own. But the Iron Teeth will literally not get more people unless you have berries and water. So it doesn't matter if you have a ton of food if it's not berries. So you got to keep at least enough berries, and water to keep the population recovering. All right. Those lo-fi music? Yeah, no, it's excellent. It's pretzel music. The artist is Harris Heller. Alright, here comes the drought, so all the water is going to slowly disappear off the map. Goodbye, water. It was nice knowing you. Then the ground all goes barren. But that's the reason we got that big levee and all that for the reservoir here, so that we could just continue operating per normal. Over time, we will slowly consume that, and you'll probably notice that while it's not always every single one of our droughts is longer than the previous one, they will gradually get longer and longer. I think they get up to something like 27 days or something for a drought. But the other, like the double whammy on that, is it'll also make the days between droughts shorter and shorter. It ends up being a thing that you have to manage to retain enough water and recover it like as efficiently as possible. So that way, the longest you think you've seen is 31 days. Yeah, and 31 days without water is really hard to manage without a lot of effort to get it all set up. you need to have a lot of water in reserve. And then on top of that, you need a lot of, like, you need to be able to recover the water you've lost. Like, when it gets back to between season, you need to basically capture every bit of water you can. I don't know if they went into story-wise in any way, shape, or form why the droughts get longer and longer, so much as they just do. Let's see. Can you just store what you can capture? You have to just store what you can capture? Yeah, so that's the idea. Is like we have the water sources right here. So you, like, I made this, I captured this. But the issue is, while we're doing the drought, if you actually watch, you can get a depth meter. If you actually watch, this will slowly go down because the game does have evaporation, and I will also be pulling up water from here. So we are slowly consuming the water in our reserve here. And as it gets longer and longer, we will gradually deplete what water's in here until it's just gone. You know, at which point then it goes dry, and then all these fields go barren, and then things get really bad. Things just get really, really bad. No, you don't pull the water from the source of dry period. Like, right now, this is not producing water. So, like, I have a finite amount of water here until the drought goes away. Like, no new water is coming in here until the drought is done. Alright, so we're doing good on our berries for the moment. I do think ultimately we're not going to keep this spot up here being the cassava. Let's go here and unset those. They can harvest it. I'm going to make this cassava down here. Which is going to eat into those berries and all that. We'll make that into cassava, so this will be our cassava area. To then be brought over there to the fermenter to make food. More than likely I want to like bisect that and get some like corn or another crop going. But we'll want to expand our food operation and get mangroves growing down here once they manage to clear some of this out. Still haven't built the stairs yet. But that's just because we don't have enough spare workers. Which we're just waiting for the workers. We got a bunch of beavers being born. We just have to wait for them to age up into adults. Keep the forester's range in mind. Yeah, the forester's over here. We're going to be getting rid of the berries and putting cassava, and that uses the farmhouses. Yeah, now the forester's dealing with this area. And as far as the mangroves, yeah, no, what I can do though is I can cut across here. I probably should actually just do that now. So we can go here, cut a path right through there. We can put path, stairs, goes here. That'll drop over there, and that'll make it so the range that we can get the forester will be a lot better. Oh, you know what? That's why those aren't getting cut. I understand now. These aren't in range for the tree cutters. Well, I mean, they still set to remove them. You don't, like, if you tell them to remove them, it doesn't even need the tree cutter to do it. Alright, so the drought has ended, so we got new water popping in. So if we watch, the water level here will start picking up. And then what it does, you know, spill over into this area, which will spill over into this area, and you get the idea. I need to get the depth meter, because I'll actually show you what it's at. Alright, we'll just... It'll get there. It just takes a little while, because it's a pretty big reservoir. I think you have the science part already? This. Oh yeah, for the depth meter? Yeah, I do. Now, you can make that reservoir deeper to hold more? Yes. There's a late game tech that lets you... Alright, well that's flooding. That's fine, it'll sort itself out. It's just kind of like the surge of the water going through. Yeah, so now the water's moved through, it's hitting our water wheels, it's going to be going down to this path. We're all good there. It'll rubber band a couple of times till it settles. Yeah, no, you have late game tech that you can use TNT to blow up the blocks to make it deeper. That's one option. Another option is I could physically build up my levees to be taller around here and then make all this taller. So I just have a, you know, I can make my reservoir deeper by digging down, or I can build it up. Or both. Alright. So we still have more beavers showing up, and the population is building up gradually. We still have 4 buildings that don't have workers yet. This is what's going to be for a while. One thing I think I'm going to do to help make this not as bad. See if we can't alleviate some of this issue. I'm gonna put a levee over here. I'm gonna put like a levee or 2 over here. I actually go down here real fast and say get rid of the paths down there. But that should help. We can also put a path down there. For later. You also pop over here and say we don't need a path here anymore. Yeah, so we can put like a little funnel on this side. So that instead of splashing over everywhere, you can kind of contain it. I think it's going to be kind of limited how well it's going to work. But it'll at least be something to keep it from just splashing over and flooding the area again and again. We can plant more cassava. Alright. We still have to replace 4 more workers. That is what that is. It seems like the berries are in perfectly good shape. We're not making too much of an inroad so far as cleaning up anything else, but that's until they clear that path. Yeah, so they can't quite fill the job still. Cool. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. It might even be a thing that down the road I move the forester down here, have the mangroves take over, the oak goes away, it becomes berries. We can figure that out if we get there. The mangrove's not quite as good as the oak when it comes to the amount of wood you get, but it's pretty solid. We're doing really good in cassava, so let's not... Let's plan for like this much to be cassava, and then we can worry about another crap. They give food? Am I It says they give wood. Do wood every 10 days. That tells me it gives it wood. It could be that by default you don't cut them down and therefore you don't get the wood. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, is it does have food. Yeah, no, it's got both. It's got food and it's got wood. So we're doing cleanup. We still have 4 workers missing. It's food or wood, not both, sadly. Gotcha. Wish it was communicated a little bit clearer. Because I would have read that as and food. Besides story water, your population growth is priority. So population growth does let you do more. Right now, my population growth is priority because we lost a lot of people. So I can't, like, I have a bunch of buildings that are just sitting there unable to be used right now because there's no one to use it. But I need the things those buildings do. And to be clear, like, game's not explaining mechanics well. It is par for the course in a lot of games, unfortunately. There's a lot of games that have a pretty bad habit of just putting stuff in. You gotta figure. Oh no, you're good. You're good at elevation. Don't worry about it. That's one of the things that, like, when you play a game, you expect people to ask questions. At least one would hope, because otherwise that's a pretty bad indicator they're not interested, and that's not a good place to be. Alright, so we still have one of the woodcutters working. That half of the area that's flooded to wood and half of it to food. The problem is I'm going to have to move the forestry down here, which is fine. I can put it here, facing that way or whatever. This side food, this side wood. That'd actually be a good... Honestly, that's probably a good choice. Let's plan to do that, so let's go ahead and do that. Actually, let's check which way the forestry faces before I do that, because I might actually need to go on the other side. That's what I thought. So it'd actually be that side. So we can re-queue that to be this, and instead go to demolish and get rid of those 4. And then the forestry can go there, and then we'll be able to put, like, one side wood, one side the other. Then we can get rid of this forestry up here. These trees and all that, we can just plant them all as bushes in the meantime. We can get rid of them later. Or we can just do whatever we want them. We can make it a farm. We can do whatever. Let's see. So what buildings do you need? Like, what do they do? So I want to build another water pump, which gives me water for my beavers to actually drink. Because weirdly enough, if they go in the water, that doesn't count. They have to have it from the tap. They can't possibly go in the water and get it. That's just, you know, come on, we're civilized. But you have that. I have, like, dealing with the farms. But right now, so I need what buildings are missing work? So I have this one that will make lumber into planks, which is a resource needed to build other things. That I don't need right now. We're actually pretty okay in our population for the moment. We just got there. We're up to 17 beavers, whereas we were down to 9. We are at, like, triple speed or whatever. You guys drink your bath water? Of course they need it from the tap. Hear me out. If I'm literally dying of dehydration, I'm gonna take my chances with that bath water. Would I do it otherwise? No. But if I am actively dying of dehydration, I feel like it's time to lower the standards just a little. And actually, for that matter, it is the thing that we do for hurricanes, that when a hurricane is getting ready to roll through, is you fill up your bathtub and you make sure the drain is, like, properly plugged, just in case you lose water. Very specifically your bathtub. Now, obviously, you don't bathe in that water and then drink it. Like, when you're in that situation, you put the water in the tub and you don't touch it. But there's that whole bit. Okay, so we can go here and go to cut down trees, do that. Oh, it's already covering the area I want to cover. You know, like 30 gallons of water stored in bottles. I don't think I have nearly that much, but I do have a decent amount, just in case. I have no idea what it comes down to, the number of bottles to that. Yeah, so now we've got mangroves growing. So we'll have half of those mangroves will be food, half of those is that. Can woodcutters get to the mangroves? Nope. No, they cannot. Because these are the ones we opted for food, and those are the ones we're cutting down. So we can go here and say, those trees go. So your initial build, when you first start, are you given resources? Or what does it start? So when you start, there'll be like, up here is a bit of a forest over there. You get this building, and there's a bunch of berries over here. But that's basically it. And so the idea is you have a limited amount of wood. You get like your initial buildings and research setup so that you can then make, you know, like more sustainable wood and all that. And then once you get to that point, then you're kind of in pretty good shape for a lot of that. That'll be pretty good for Kosovo. And we'll probably switch up our crops to something else once we go farther out here that we can feed our people. Oh wow, it's already gone. I didn't expect them to be that fast. So yeah, so you'll set up the places to deal with the wood early, because these should be able to reach all that. Yeah, so we don't even need these two up here anymore. Yeah, so you can reach all that. Yeah, so I can actually cover exactly this area, and I can cover this area. I do have the forestry up here, and I probably don't need this to be nearly as high priority. I think we keep it here for right now to keep the wood rolling, but that could be another thing later. And we can also go over here real fast, put a couple more tiles of berries there since we need so much of them. Alright, we're still fine in housing, we're still fine in that, we're still filling in new workers, that's all fine. Okay. So we've got that set up in a pretty good way. We got our bigger warehouses. Okay, so that's the next thing is let's go here and... we can get the bigger water wheel. And let's also get gears on the list. And for the gears, I can actually just plop that right there. It's not a super efficient route to get around, but that's fine. It'll be powered. Let's see. So you build a reservoir. What do you need for resources for like the wall? So you've got wood, you've got planks, you've got gears, you can get metal. There's a couple different other materials like that. You've got water. I think there's oil. So you've got a bunch of like just various resources. Right now I just have the wood, the planks, and the water. Wooden planks are the primary construction materials. I just did build the place to get gears, which is another construction material I'm gonna need. But yeah, so it is a bunch of new tech popping in here. Alright, it's gonna take a while for that. So that said, chat, we are a bit over about halftime for the stream. So usually what I do is around this time is we do our switch on games and all that kind of stuff. And so what's gonna end up happening is we are going to be switching over to Farm Sim to continue our Survivor Man run. So first of all, for those checking this over on YouTube, I am gonna have to end the stream on YouTube because I can't switch categories. Blame YouTube, not me. So don't forget to like and subscribe over there. And for those checking this on TikTok, I am going to be giving the stream a quick kick